stream going. It's up and it's firing up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I already see people are in the building. What is going on? How are we doing? The release of the the chiseling of the Untitled Adonis episode 4 is out. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and grab the click on it. I don't know why I said grab the click on it, but it's out there. We are live. I can see you guys, but can you see me? Oh, man. All right. As always, you know what to do. When we do go live, you write that 1 in the chat room if you can hear me clearly. If you can't, put a 2. Matter of fact, no, don't put a 2, because we usually have some individuals who jump in here and they start putting the 2 when they don't need to put the 2. So let me know if you can hear me. Candace is in the house. What is going on? All right. Let's get those links ready and copied. Let the people know in Instagram land that I am live and on Twitter as well. Expecting a very exciting game tonight. NFC matchup, playoff implications, the battle between the two wild card teams. If the records stand the way that they are, between the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Minnesota, I was gonna say Minnesota Timberwolves, the Minnesota Vikings in CenturyLink Field. All right. Go over to Twitter. The people know I am live. Right. How was everybody's day? Kicking off their week. No visual. Dewan says he doesn't have a visual. That's bizarre. Should have the visual. People can't see me? Let me know if you can't see me. Seeing a lot of ones in here. People are hearing me, but people can't see me. That's bizarre. Let me know if you can't see me. You guys should be able to see me. That's bizarre if you couldn't see me. Wouldn't see that one coming. Right now, given that they're playing in Seattle, I'm going to roll with the Seahawks to win this game. I think the Vikings will put up a valiant effort. And honestly, if you take a look at the numbers, Kirk Cousins has been balling. In fact, he should be in the talks for who is the NFL's MVP. So, but unfortunately, that's not how things have been playing out thus far. So we'll see in the coming weeks how things play out. But I'll tell you this much: if Kirk Cousins takes down Russell Wilson here, I think that would that probably put him to leapfrog Russell Wilson in my book, because Kirk Cousins has been balling. Although Russell been doing it all season long, as of late, Kirk Cousins has been able to galvanize his team and get them a couple of W's. Let me see if I can get this on. Okay, so Twitter world should be aware that I am live. Dalvin Cook is balling as well. CJ Holstein says, no, bruh, Kirk ain't no MVP. Take a look at his numbers and Russell Wilson's numbers. Honestly, take a look at their numbers. All bias aside, Kirk Cousins is balling. I'm not saying Lamar's not number one. Remember, yesterday I said Lamar and Russell Wilson are both right here. I have Lamar slightly above Russell Wilson. If Kirk takes down Russell Wilson here, I'll have him jump over Russell Wilson. That doesn't mean that Kirk is the MVP. It still is Lamar Jackson. But when we're talking about the running for the MVP, I would have Kirk Cousins now jump over Russell Wilson if he pulls off the W here. That's what I'm trying to say. Z66A says Lamar pretty much sealed the MVP with the win yesterday. I can't necessarily say that yet, because remember what happened. You got to say that barring injury, because Carson Wentz pretty much sealed up the MVP in Week 11, and then he got hurt. So hopefully, Lamar Jackson stays healthy all the way through. But I just want to make sure that health is number one. Let me put this for put this on Instagram. Chiseling the Unchiseled Adonis, episode 4. Put that for Instagram. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. It's been quite the day, but a successful day nonetheless. Let's see what else has to be here. Here's the one behind the scenes thing that I always hated about social media. Just so much things that you got to get done. You got to put right thumbnails. You got to do all this other malarkey. Right, the game should be kicking off about like the 8:25 range, things of that nature. So in due time, we will be live. And we've got 137 in the room right now. We've got 32 likes. If you guys can get those numbers up for me, please, that would be nice. All right. Let's hit that. Go in here. All right. Michael Rocket says, "Hey Chisel, did you upgrade your internet yet?" I got Fios. So if it ain't gonna upgrade now, I don't know if I don't know what I'd upgrade to. I mean, is there upgrade higher than Fios? Not to my estimation. I don't believe there is. But you guys can let me know if there's one that is indeed better. Where is the editor for said photo? How do I change the dimension? Oh, well, there it is. Perfect. Okay, so I'll just send this to my Facebook. All right. We'll be going live during the game momentarily. But I heard with the loss yesterday, the Niners are the 5th seed now. The Squeaks, the Niners would drop to the 5th seed if the Seahawks win tonight. Because the Niners lost their first game against Seattle, if they both have the same record, Seattle would usurp them in the rankings, thus putting them in the wild card. And initially, remember, I made the prediction, Seattle will win the division. I believe that the 49ers will be in the wild card with a 13-3 record, or mess around and be a 12-4 record. Whatever the case is, I think that's how it's going to end up panning out. I think the Seahawks and the 49ers will either end with the same record, or the Seattle will beat them by one game. But I think the NFC West title will go to the 13-3 team. And if that just so happens to be the Seattle Seahawks, then so be it. All right. Okay, I guess that one didn't fit. Let's try that again. This one here. All right, they're singing, getting ready for Monday night. We will be going live momentarily. Well, we are live right now, but I guess covering the game momentarily. Perfect. All right, send this to IG, published over there. Magnificent. All right, we should be good to go. All right, great. All right, going live on Hot Mic in 1 minute. But, all right, since we are here and they're getting ready to, raise the 12 towel, here is your opportunity. Make your predictions. I see people already ahead of the curve. Ain't that beautiful when you got a following who already know what to do? I'm seeing, and we are live. We are live on the Hot Mic app. Game getting ready to happen in CenturyLink Field. It appears that the Vikings will be kicking the football off to the Seattle Seahawks. I'm seeing a lot of predictions here in favor of the Seahawks. I'm seeing 33-20. I'm seeing 35-24, 27-17. A bunch of these individuals are here rolling for the Seahawks. I'm seeing J Boogie 18 put Skull in the chat room. You already know what time it is when that kickoff happens. And more importantly, we are live on Hot Mic. I'll be getting to that after we do our intro. But you already know it's 60 minutes. It's Monday Night Football. It's prime time. And damn it, there's no other place that you would rather be but hanging with your boy and watching football. It's on ESPN. If you don't got cable, find somebody who do. There's the kickoff from Dan Bailey. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live in Hold My Nugget Studios and on the Hot Mic app for your 2019 NFL Week 13 Monday Night Football game highlight commentary live from CenturyLink Field as the Seattle Seahawks host the Minnesota Vikings in a big-time NFC playoff implication game. And as I stated a little bit earlier, we are live on the Hot Mic app. Do me a favor, if you have an iPhone or an Android, click those links that I just put in the chat room. If you're watching on YouTube, download those apps. Use the promo code Adonis. It's absolutely free. And on Hot Mic, we incorporated a chat room, and now I can see you individuals over there as well. Shout out to the 11 who are in there. Longworth Shaw, I can see you, Sean. And I can reply in there too, so if you guys would like to do a little bit of engagement with me on Hot Mic, I can engage with you over there. Brian now entering the chat room. How is it going, Brian? What's up, Brian? I can see you. Jeff C. What's up? Tyler Roden in the building. What's going on, Tyler? Brian saying, here we go, Steelers. That's what's up. 2nd and 1. All right, damn it. I done missed the first play talking to you guys. All right, it is from the 34-yard line, 2nd and 1, handoff to Chris Carson. He finds a hole. You talk about being a paragon of patience. Job-like in the suppression of his advancement of the football. He'd pick up a first down for the Seattle Seahawks offense, led by this offensive line who, for all intents and purposes, they have not been blocking very well over the course of the last 2 years. Now, granted, they've improved this year than they were last year, but it still is the Russell Wilson show. He turns chicken manure into chicken dinner. He finds a way to make it happen, probably because he turned a hoe into a housewife. But of course, we ain't talking about that right now. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Play action fake for Russell Wilson. Rolls towards his left. He's got some time. He could take off. He uses his legs. He slides. He should be marked down at the 42, but I think the referees are going to mark him down at the 41. Let's go down the YouTube chat room. Let's see who's in the building. 16 Voids. What's going on? Guap Shad. How's it going? Guap Shad, pardon me. Thornhart 86, Zim 85, Brandon Black, how's it going? Bilbo Baggins. That's I thought there was a space in between Bilbo. Is it Bilbo Baggins altogether? That's intriguing. I had no clue. I thought there was a space. How's it going there? 2nd and 6 from the 42. They did mark him at the 42. That's good. That's good refereeing right there. That's Rashad Penny going in motion. Shotgun formation. Trips to his right. Hand off on the delay to Rashad Penny. He's going to pick up 5. I believe he will be stopping short here. The referee's going to mark him down, and it's going to set up a 3rd and 1 situation. It may have appeared to have picked up the first down, but it's looking like it's fixing to be 3rd and inches. Elijah Sims, what's going on? Chris Box 03, how's it going? Levi Wright, as always. Minnesota man, how's it going? Good luck to your Vikings tonight if you are a Vikings fan. Caden, how's it going? Kubi Shaw, question mark. Desmond Edmond, as always. All right, R. Potter TGT 16, how's it going? Douglas, how's it going? Darius, how's it going? 3rd and 1 from the 47-yard line. Toss out to Carson. It appears he's going to be stopped short. He's participating in that Frank Costanza challenge. He does not pick up the first down, and he is still down. Perhaps there could be some sort of head injury that happened here, maybe a little bit of whiplash. This is not what you want to see. But what just transpired was Chris Carson attempting to pick up the first down on a toss, but he would be stopped short. His head hits the thigh pad of Jacob Hollister. Xavier Rhodes trying to get off of the block, brings Hollister back in. Carson's head ricochets off of his thigh pad. He is down. We'll find out what's happening, but Seattle with a 4th and 1 situation from the 47-yard line. Carson is still down. We'll see what happens after the break. Luke Hollinsworth, how's it going? Dark Knight Gaming, how's it going? Brandon Wright, Titan Omega. Blazing King. Angelo, as always, in the building. Bottomless Pit 7, how's it going? Colton Sawyer, how's it going? The Squeaks, how's it going? Corva BBX says, you talking Chris Conner or James Conner? Chris Carson or James Conner? Well, that's Chris Carson on the field. This is the Seattle Seahawks playing. Back to the Hot Mic chat room we go. No, before I get back to the Hot Mic chat room, let's take a look at Twitter, see what's going on in Twitter world. All right, anybody tuning into the stream? Mark Ackerman, as always, get live on Twitter with me, saying that he's got Seattle defeating Minnesota 27-20. And shout out to Yang Vang, puts 5 on it. Do you think AB is already a legend if he ever leaves from his tweet last night? I would say AB is a legend on the field, but it's going to be similar to what you saw with Ocho Cinco. So it's one of those players that were absolutely dominant when they were playing, but when it comes to being enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they messed up their chances. AB would be a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. When we talk about his dominance, it's similar to Calvin Johnson, but to be quite honest with you, it's a little bit better. His numbers, little bit better. So you can make the argument AB at his peak was better than Calvin Johnson at his peak. It's simply an argument, not saying it's something unanimous, but it can happen. Calvin Johnson was absolutely destroying defenses when he was on the field, and you can make the argument that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. AB, without question, would be a first ballot if he retired right now, without the off-season on-field, off-field sort of issues. But I would say he is correct for saying that he is indeed a legend. Gap Tooth Assassin says the Gus Johnson of Hot Mic is here for 2 nights in a row. Trusting the power of dreadlocks, Kareem Hunt will kick all these hoes. Well, shout out to you for tuning in. 4th and 1. The Seattle Seahawks will not go for it. They're going to kick the football back to the Minnesota Vikings. I do not see a punt. I should say I don't see a fake here. That's not what happened. They punted all the way back. It's fielded at the 16-yard line, and that is where Minnesota will take over, where they're winners of 6 of their last 7, I believe. Kirk Cousins on the game. 0 INTs the last 5 games, I might add. Only 3 on the year. 21 touchdowns, 2,700 yards, and a 71% completion percentage. As I said before the game started, take a look at Russell Wilson's numbers. Take a look at Kirk Cousins' numbers. They are fairly similar. It is not fair to not put Kirk Cousins into the MVP talks. Not to say he's a league leader, because we know that's Lamar Jackson. But this particular game, I believe if Kirk Cousins can pull it off, he will jump over Russell Wilson in the MVP voting. All right, 1st and 10. Cousins over the middle, caught by Dalvin Cook. Pickup of 8, setting up 2nd and 7. 2nd, pardon me. Why would I say 2nd and 2nd? 2nd and 2. That's stupid. Use your common sense, Adonis. But Dalvin Cook using his dreadlock powers to a top 5 rushing performance thus far this season. Kirk family member Cousins getting it done. It turns out that was a 9-yard pickup. That's a very long yard, I must say. Myself, I don't see Burt Reynolds on the field. But regardless, play action fake. Kirk Cousins with the elite fake. Pass caught by his man, breaks a tackle. He's got a convoy of bodies in front. Cut inside, brings it into Seattle Seahawks territory. Big time gain for the Minnesota Vikings. You talk about blockers out in front. Look at the replay here. Look at the great play action fake from Kirk Cousins. Completely catches Jadeveon Clowney sleeping. All right, finds his man, and he's got more blockers than transgender medication. Going down the field for the big time pickup. Good Lord in heaven. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are live on the Hot Mic app. If you're watching on YouTube, download the app. You can watch me in real time instead of about a 45-second delay. There's the toss to Dalvin Cook once again. He's got some blocks out in front, more positive yardage, pickup of about 5. What a play by Ham. Great play by Ham. Put him in a cold cut sandwich because Ham is making their presence felt. One look at the offensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. All right, they've been stellar thus far this season. When we take a look at their skill players, you're not seeing Adam Thielen. He's still inactive with that bummed hamstring. But can Stephon TM28 Diglett use Diggs go out there and put out a virtuoso performance? Motion man is Madison. In the backfield by himself, in empty, is Kirk family member. This might be a screen here, but it's not. He's got some time. Pass over the middle. It's actually caught. What a catch there. I thought that was going to be a breakup from Trey Flowers of the Seattle Seahawks, but it was not. is going to set up a 3rd and 1 situation for Minnesota. And you already know when they approach the red zone, they turn to Kyle Rudolph, the red zone reindeer. But will they get that opportunity sitting at 3rd and 1 deep in Seahawks territory? This ham running back, this ham running back is better than the leftovers from Thanksgiving. We'll find out. Zim85, we'll find out. Here comes the jet sweep. It's given to Diggs. He's got some blockers out in front. Carries it inside the 20. Makes a cut inside. Dodges 2 Seattle Seahawks. He's down at the 2. He should have kept running towards his left. You talk about cutting people up. Give him the O.J. Simpson Challenge champion. He's cutting up defenses like he cuts up Nicole Brown. Look at the jet sweep here. 2 blockers towards the right. Cuts it back inside, tells a couple of Seattle Seahawks to give me their ankles. He really could have went for the touchdown if he kept running towards his left. What a block from Kyle Rudolph. McDonald was over there looking like a little boy. Simply could not get off the block. Minnesota going down the field with ease. Personnel, Conklin, Rudolph, Smith, Ham, and Cook. So you know they're about to run the ball. Fake. No, it's not. It's a toss outside. Into the end zone goes Dalvin Cook. Far too easy. Far too easy for the Vikings. Into the end zone, early touchdown. They take the lead 6-0 over the Seattle Seahawks. You talk about lack of adversity against them. You've got to be kidding me. And we've got 53 people in the chat on Hot Mic. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. If you're a new listener on Hot Mic, consider following your boy, Hold My Nugget Studios. We go live at least 2 times every week, but it is guaranteed you'll get me for the Monday night game and the Thursday night game. So give me a follow so you'll always be able to tune in. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on YouTube, I see we've got 200 watching live here. We've got only 75 likes. Let's get that up. But if you have a phone, which I would presume that you do in the 21st century, all right, we don't need to sing the song about Sherlock Holmes in the 21st century. But, of course, if you got that phone, you got an Apple iPhone or you got yourself a Samsung, do me a favor, download the Hot Mic app. If you're on the Play Store, you can simply use the promo code. Well, not on the Play Store, but you would have to pre-register on the Play Store. On the App Store, use the promo code Adonis. The app is absolutely free, as you see on your screen. All right, Paul Lawrence says that was easy work. Absolutely. Ben says hot mic, hot mic. Well, the mic is hot. And the Chiseled Adonis is live. All right, but if you guys are watching here and you do have those phones, do me a favor, go over to the Hot Mic app and watch me in sync, or I should say synced with your television. I don't know why I'd say watched in sync. It's no Justin Timberlake around. This is not anybody saying bye, bye, bye. I would say that at the end of the stream. But, of course, we ain't talking about that right now. YYVD says, can you do NBA commentary? You know, I am going to do the same commentary as I always do during the playoffs, but I think I'll accelerate it when the new year comes. So what I think I'll do is when the All-Star break happens, because that's usually the week after the Super Bowl, I think I'll do a weekly wrap-up every single week of what's happening in the NBA building up to the playoffs, because I'm one of those believers who say that the NBA or I should say the NBA season doesn't really matter until All-Star break. Let's just be honest. It doesn't. It simply does not. Because what you could see teams jump out to a great record early and then all of a sudden they fall off of a cliff. So we'll see what transpires moving from there. Let me open up this chat room here. Pop this chat room open here. This should still be muted just so I can have all of the chat rooms in front of me and still have Twitter World engage with me as well. Perfect. Ja, I see you in the chat room on Hot Mic. Shout out to you. How's it going? Nogelber says, can you do Iron Bowl commentary? I am not touching college football until the college football playoffs. I understand the significance of rivalry week. However, there's far too many games. The minute I do one game, there's going to be a ton of other requests coming in, and I'm a man of the people. Now I'm going to sit over here doing about 17 different commentary videos and missing my cues from my routine ones. But there's the kickoff going back to the Seattle Seahawks. Will it be fielded out of the end zone? No, it is not. And we're going to have a 1st and 10 from the 25, Seattle trailing at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Miles says, ladies and gentlemen, in Hot Mic app, I might add. Miles says, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hold My Nugget Studios for your Week 13 Monday Night Football live commentary. Shout out to you, Miles. You know the cue. Chris J says, what do you think about the Duck QB? I love him. I absolutely love him. He doesn't seem to have any sort of fear when it comes to slinging that football down the field. He looks like he's playing with some confidence. So I'm happy they went to Cerulean City, grabbed Misty, told her to give us your side duck and put him on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jordan says, can we do the XFL? Absolutely we can. 1st and 10 for the Seattle Seahawks. Dump off from Russell Wilson to Rashad Dime, Rashawn Dollar, Rashad Nickel, Rashad Penny, and he picks up 7 yards, setting up what should be 2nd and 3. Chris Carson still on the sideline, but the helmet is back in his head. The mouthpiece is on his tongue. I should say in his mouth, but I'll say it's on his tongue. So it appears that he is cleared. There's no concussion. He will probably be returning back to the game. All right, but it's a 2nd and 2 situation for the Seahawks. I'm seeing a hole in the weak side B gap. That is where they're going to run, and he cuts it back towards the A. It should be enough for a Seattle Seahawks first down, and I see that's where the referees put their hand up. There was forward progress, gain of 2. Last week against the Eagles, we saw Rashad Penny run 14 carries for 129 yards and a TD. In fact, that's the most rush yards from a Eagles, or I should say a Seattle running back in quite some time. Moody Booty is in the building, says, imagine thinking Gardner Minshew was a franchise QB. You know, I found that funny that they ended up benching Nick Foles. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Russell Wilson with a ton of time in the pocket, but he's going to be sacked because his receivers are working at Chick-fil-A, but evidently today must have been Sunday because they could not get open. But Moody Booty saying, imagine thinking that Gardner Minshew is a franchise QB. I'll say this much. I figured that Nick Foles was going to lose his job because people tend to forget when he left to go to St. Louis and played for the Rams, he could not get the job done. He flourishes in Philadelphia because they have a system there that really benefits, his talents. And more importantly, he did have better, I'd say, weapons around him when he was in Philly. DJ Shark is an absolute monster, but the Jags offensive line and things are just not in tune the same way it was in Philly. All right, dump off to Rashad Penny, dodges a tackler and picks up I think that's 6. He'll pick up 6. That should be 3rd and 4 or possibly 3rd and 3. We've seen them give Seattle a very long yard, or I should say they gave Minnesota a very long yard. So maybe they might give Seattle a short yard. No, that's not the case. They gave him a 3rd and 4. But in the case of Philly, the offensive line hasn't been nothing to where it's like, oh, this is stellar. But I'll say the Jags, they're just not as good as Philly was for Nick Foles. That's why he ended up losing his job. And more importantly, Gardner Minshew was like 500 when he was playing. So roll with the hot hand, man. Nick just came back from injury. 3rd and 4, pass over the middle. It's caught by I think that's Flash Gordon approaching. Good Lord in heaven, somebody tell him Flash Gordon's on the field. Flash. Savior of the universe. First down for the Seattle Seahawks. You kidding me? He says, I catch football and I never miss out on a pull of some weed, and moves the chains for the Seattle Seahawks. Those green highlighters are going into Minnesota territory. Sitting at the 48-yard line. Some movement up front from the offensive line, but not a false start. They're just getting in position. Shotgun formation. Going in motion. It's going to be a toss. It's probably about a pickup of 5. Great tackle, but very bizarre takedown, I must say so myself. I believe that should be Moore, who did pick up those yards. Indeed it was. But there's a man down for the Minnesota Vikings. It did look bizarre on the tackle. This could be an issue with the arm, maybe the left arm. I'm not sure what's happening. It's still tucked underneath his stomach. And is that Xavier Rhodes? In fact, it isn't Xavier Rhodes. This is not what you want to see if you're Minnesota. Trey Waynes may be their best corner thus far this season if he's still there. I believe he still is. Should still be there for them, absolutely. He is still there for them. I'm curious. Oh, no, he must have been out. Who knows? But Xavier Rhodes thus far this season, I think he's leading the league in defensive flags, like defensive holding or pass interference, whatever the case may be. Let's take a look back in the hot mic chat room. Ben says, imagine signing Nick Foles 4 years, $88 million. I thought it was ridiculous, but I understood why they gave him the money. Shavang Patel says, anyone liking these neon uniforms? You know, I can't say I'm a fan of them. I can't say I'm a big fan of them, but I'd rather them wear the regular blue uniforms that they have. This one kind of makes it look like they're a very cheap highlighter that started, you know, they wrote it on those cheaper highlighters that you have. Remember when you used to put them on darker, you know, papers or darker ink or something like that, and then it would seep into the highlighter, and all of a sudden now it's, you know, got multiple colors on it. That's what their uniform looks like to me. Yordi says, what do you think of Drew Lock's first start? He got bailed out from that pass interference call, but you know what? He looks solid. That first quarter looked very good. Then it got kind of iffy, you know, in quarters 2 through 3. And then in the fourth, he made just enough plays to go and get that W. You know what? I like it. I like it. I still, if Flacco's healthy, I wouldn't start him over Flacco. That's not to say Flacco's something that, hey, you got to start Flacco, because I'm not a believer in Flacco at all. Only thing elite about Flacco is his Nike socks. But Drew Lock, he did look stellar. I'll say that much. Charles Jackson says DJ Shark, most improved player in the NFL. You know what? You got a damn good argument for that. I would roll with you and say that for sure. He's definitely a Pro Bowl pick. Moody Booty says one of the best, only the best of the best can bounce back from injury off the jump. Foles is amazing, but he's definitely not in that conversation. I agree. I do believe they should have gave him a little bit more time, because this is what, about 3 weeks that he's been back. No, pardon me. He came back in week 11. So this is 3 games. And then, bam, he's already gone. So, I don't know. But Ben says Foles, amazing. Charles Jackson says Nick Foles is horrible. He made the Bucs look dominant. Well, you know, the Bucs, these past couple of weeks, they've had a couple of good games. All right? So, I can't necessarily say they're garbage. But, you know, I get your point. Back to the field we go. 2nd and 5. Handoff to Rashad Penny. Rolling towards his right. He would. Oh, wow. He stays on his feet. Picks up a first down for Seattle. Well, I'll be damned. I thought he was going down. Maybe he bumped into another one of those miscolored highlighters that happened to be his offensive line. But big time pickup. Big time pickup for Rashad Penny. Let's take a look to see what happened. He jumped inside. Yes, his shoulder pads bumped right into Fant, and he was able to pick up the first down. I'm not sure why Fant kept looking like he was trying to stop him from picking up the first down. We know he started the Vikings defense on his fantasy team now because he does not want his running back to advance. And Penny is still in the game here. Flash Gordon and DK Metcalf are your receivers. At tight end is Jacob Hollister. 1st and 10 inside Vikings territory from the 37. Handoff to Penny once again. He picks up 9. He's going to be down at the 28-yard line. It's all Seattle on this drive. They've got holes for days running the football. If this was a game in Green Bay, call them Swiss cheese, because there's nothing but holes on that defense. Ben says, I like the Seahawks gray unis. I love the Seahawks gray unis. I think those things are beautiful. All right. Let's see. Brenton says, do you believe in defense? Do I believe in the defense for the Steelers? Absolutely. I believe this is one of their best defenses since 2011. Handoff to Chris Carson. This should be good enough for a Seattle first down. Forward momentum would mark him for the first down, or this is going to set up 3rd and inches. Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, 2nd year in that position. Josh says, have I ever thought about doing college football? As I stated a little bit earlier, only the playoffs for the college football. I only cover the New Year's Six and also the national championship. All right. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Russell Wilson takes the snap. This could have possibly been a delay of game. He's headed towards the end zone. Overthrows DK Metcalf. Pass incomplete. That could have been a scary situation because the safety was closing for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure what the call was here. DK Metcalf did not do a very good job on that fade. It seemed as if he should have been going full speed immediately off the ball, but he was trying to bait the cornerback, I guess. Not really a good route. That just shows his youth. Nasmeek says, do you think Gardner Minshew can succeed in the NFL? I believe that he can. I believe that he can succeed in the NFL. 2nd and 10 from the 27-yard line. We've seen Gardner Minshew have a little bit of success here and there. He won some football games. Russell Wilson's going to use his legs. He's going to slide down at the 20. That should be a 3rd and 3 situation. Kendrick's wondering why the hell he got kicked in the shins. Because he's a quarterback, and you know he can do that. Jordan Murray asked, do you think the Bears are making the playoffs? Take the L out of Lover. It's over, brother. There's no way they're going to make the playoffs. You look, the 6 teams that are in the playoffs right now in the NFC, pardon me. The 5 teams, with the exception of the NFC East, those are the 5 teams in the playoffs. The wild card will either be Minnesota, Green Bay, Seattle, or the 49ers, based on how those records play out. But I do not see the Bears, anybody else in that wild card trying to get into the wild card making the playoffs. It's not happening. Caught by DK Metcalf inside the 10, inside the 5. He's probably going to be down. They're going to mark him at the 1. Well, I'll be damned. 1st and goal from the 1 in Seattle. You already know they're about to run a play-action fake, or they're going to just throw the ball because, you know, Seattle doesn't like to run the football inside the 5. I can hear Marshawn Lynch eating Skittles, grunting because he doesn't have another Super Bowl ring on his finger. Let's see what happens. 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. My heavens, they ran the football. Hand off to Chris. Get out of my car, son. He doesn't get into the end zone. He stopped at the 1, setting up 2nd and goal. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Hot Mic app. If you're watching in YouTube, do me a favor, download the Hot Mic app and tune in with us live on Hot Mic. We've got a good number of people in the room. The chat room is booming. We've got individuals interacting, and that's what we want to see. Eric Cartman is in the building on Hot Mic. Shout out to you. Would you trade Minkah Fitzpatrick and Mason Rudolph for Marcus Mariota or another established quarterback? Absolutely not. Minkah Fitzpatrick galvanized that defense. There's no reason to get rid of him right now. But I'll tell you what you can get. That's a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks as Chris Carson goes into the end zone, says concussion protocol. What is that? Give me 6 points. And off of the toes of, who is the kicker for the Seattle Seahawks? Why is it escaping me? I was literally about to say Stephen Hauskett. Who is the kicker for the Seattle Seahawks? I was going to say his name to have to go make the field goal. I'm going to see it when he comes on the screen. But whatever the case is, it's a touchdown drive, 14-play, 75-yard, 8-minute drive for Seattle. Jason Myers is the kicker. Thank you very much, Joey C. and Charles Jackson. He played for the Jets last year. He was a Pro Bowler, I believe, as well. I went to the Jets playing against the Colts last year, and he made 7 field goals, if I'm not mistaken. This guy's toes are not for decoration. Anthony Barkley says, Def saw a false start on the left tackle. You know what? You're not wrong. I'll tell you that much. You're not wrong. Nasmeek says, Charles Jackson, I like the 49ers DC. I feel like he could be a head coach on Lincoln Riley. You know what, Nasmeek? I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I love that defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He looks like an angry Jason Taylor. Yordi says, would you rather have this season Cortland Sutton or DJ Shark? Who would I rather? I'd rather have DJ Shark. And Charles Jackson, I agree with you. I'd rather have DJ Shark. Let's take a look at what's happening. YouTube, we see no. Who's in the building here? Kobe Shar, I thank you for letting me know. Percy Femer, shout out to you, always tuning in. Malcolm Wilheim, trying to find a stream to sync with his commentary is difficult. You can't find it. It's take a Hot Mic and sync it to your to ESPN. If you have the app, get on the app and then sync it to your ESPN. CJ in the building. Shout out to you tuning in on Hot Mic. Jordan says, do you have a favorite MLB team? Also, maybe MLB commentary next year. A favorite MLB team? I don't really watch baseball like that. But I guess because I'm a New Yorker, I would have to say Yankees. I really enjoyed watching Aaron Judge, knock balls out of the park 2 years ago. So I guess that. But really, I'm not really into baseball like that. MLB commentary, I could try my best to make it sound entertaining, but it's very doubtful. Dalvin Cook would pick up about 4 yards from the 25 to the 29, setting up 2nd and 6, and that's going to take us into the second quarter where we've got a tie game 7-7. Both teams were able to find the end zone. Seattle would open up their first drive and fail to get into, I believe they did not get into Minnesota territory, or if they did, they had to punt because Chris Carson stopped short. Then we saw Minnesota go down the field and get into the end zone, only to see Seattle respond with a 14-play, 75-yard, 8-minute drive and even up the score at 7-all in CenturyLink Field. Yordi says, Broncos fan and both having great seasons. I would agree to Charles. Oh yeah, that's regarding DJ Shark versus Cortland Sutton. Moody Booty says, most underrated position in football, excluding the offensive line. I would say the most underrated position in football, excluding the offensive line, would have to be most underrated, excluding the offensive line. Defensive tackle. Defensive tackle. I think I'd have to lean towards defensive tackle. Yeah, Ben, I'm right there with you. Defensive tackle. I'd have to say defensive tackle. I think people overlook how important that it is. You can have the best middle linebacker on the planet. If your D tackle sucks, it's going to be tough. If you get a defensive tackle like Aaron Donald, that can make up for a lot of things. Because the interior of the line, given that the quarterback, most often than not, they're dropping back, if I can beat that center every single time, that forces their offense to have to alter. All right, I'd love to say defensive end, but that D tackle, I think we know how good the defensive end position is. We know how good the linebacker's position is. Even safety, I see Miles said or corner. I would not say the corners are underrated. I think we all know how important they are. But I'd say defensive tackle because most times people overlook it unless you're some ridiculously, talented player who always week in, week out gives virtuoso performances. Because to be quite honest with you, there's no reason why we should have saw Gerald McCoy end up leaving Tampa, having to go to Carolina, because they did not value him. Now, granted, the man got hurt a couple of times, so we can't overlook that. But you know what I mean. I think we overlook defensive tackle. Charles Jackson says tight end. That's another good one, but we've seen the emergence of the tight end position over the course of the last 5 years where you constantly see these guys killing, and now they're going to start getting paid. All right, we're back into the second quarter. Kirk Cousins is trailing all the way backwards. He throws the football away. He's out of the pocket, so there will be no flag for an intentional grounding, just for individuals who are hoping that they threw the flag down. Chris J says punter. I would love to say punter because they can influence the game. If you remember the 2009 Colts taking on the San Diego Chargers in the playoff game, Matt Cyphers was one of the reasons why they won that game. In fact, if he was not the biggest reason, he was top 2 for sure, and also Darren Sproles. But punter definitely gets overlooked. 3rd and 6, Kirk Cousins looking right. He's got Dalvin Cook. He picks up a first down. He's going to be out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Minnesota is on the move. Joseph Mendy says fullback. Michael Rocket says fullback. Desmond Edmonds says fullback. I would love to say the fullback is underrated, but I think it's being lost in football now. A lot of offenses are getting rid of the fullback. I remember if you have ESPN Plus, if you watch Peyton's Places, he does an episode where he's talking about the loss of the fullback, and he brings in Jerome Bettis and all these other guys. I was upset that Mike Allstott wasn't in the episode, but it was very entertaining. But fullback is underappreciated, but I would not say it's underrated. I don't think it's something that's necessary nowadays. Mark Drasner says the nose tackle on double team to free up the backer. Absolutely. This is why even though Brandon Mebane really had zero technique, he took up so much space it made him look as if he was good. Tony Saragusa used to always do that. He was so massive and gargantuan. He was just in this area, so then they had to double team him because he's too big for another, one-on-one sort of lineman. So if you have to double this man, it gives a one-on-one situation for your defensive ends or the other D tackle. And if you want to blitz, that linebacker has free reign now. It's going to become 6-on-5. The I formation is dead, Jordan. The I formation is dead. I'd like to see it more often. 1st and 20 situation for the Vikings. Kirk Cousins over the middle. It's caught. It's going to be a pickup of 10 to Stephon Diglett. Used TM 28 Diggs. Pardon me, he evolved after that 3-touchdown game. Stephon Doug Trio used TM 28 Diggs. The Vikings rush percentage, they only ran the football 33 times. That was 33% last year. Now I think they're up to, what was the statistics we just saw, 48? But yeah, Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook are balling. And remember what I said early in the game. Kirk Cousins needs to be considered for the MVP. Not saying that he'll get it because Lamar Jackson is far and away along with Russell Wilson. But if he beats Russell Wilson tonight, we need to start considering, hey, let's take a look at what Kirk Cousins is doing because him and Russell Wilson are right here when it comes to numbers. Pass over the middle caught by Stephon Diggs, and he's going to be down at the 41. Is it the 40? Yes, it should be the 41. They're not in Seattle territory. 3rd and 8 sort of situation here. All right, Charles Jackson says, who's worse, Cody Parkey, Nick Folk, Zane Gonzalez, or Daniel Carlson? Out of all of them, I would have to say Cody Parkey's the worst. Although he has 100%, kicking percentage for the Tennessee Titans this year. Mans came in for a couple of games, and then once they said Ryan Suckup was healthy, let's get rid of Cody Parkey, and Suckup goes out and misses 3 field goals. 3rd and 8, Kirk family member dumps it off towards his left. He's got his man, but can he get away? No, he cannot. McDougal out here looking like a rogue phlebotomist. He says, give me your feet. I said phlebotomist. Podiatrist. Phlebotomist is the people with the blood. Podiatrist is the people of the feet. Ben says Jameis Winston is, I think we're talking about, what is the conversation here? Mr. D. Paul 69 says the best way to stream from Canada. That's a good question. I think Reddit has NFL streams. Then you can go through there. They have a link. It should be one link that's there. They direct you to a different website, and then from there you can watch the games. That's how I never missed a Pittsburgh Steelers game in damn near a decade. Because although I may be based in New York, I always got to catch my Steelers games. Punt back to the Seattle Seahawks. It's returned by Moore to the 21-yard line, and that is where they will take over. Let me take a look at Twitter, see what's going on in Twitter world. Thank you very much, Xavier, for reminding me to take a look at Twitter. Let's see what's happening. I'm really enjoying this hot mic chat. Man, I'm enjoying having an opportunity to engage with you guys here. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor. Download the Hot Mic app on the Apple iPhone. It is now in, it's always been in the App Store. Use the promo code Adonis. It's absolutely free. And we have a link now for the Play Store. Us Android users can now pre-register for the app. Let's take a look in Twitter world, see what's going on. Shout out to TJ Blaze 111, always in the building showing love. What's up to you? How you doing? A says, I'm on my way. It's very funny. Your name is just A. That's hilarious. All right, Tyson says, Nick or Joey Bosa? Right now, I'd have to say Nick, but overall, Joey Bosa's always been a beast. Murder Log or Trucy Chaotic One Murder Log says he's listening to me now. I appreciate you. Yordi says, what do you think of Drew Lock's new start? We talked on that a little bit earlier. Andrew Penalosa says, I'm on Twitter ready to tweet about this game. Shout out to you always tuning in. Fly Guy Gray 58 says, how you doing, my man? I got the Seahawks because Wilson got the clutch in the car. We'll find out. I got Seattle winning as well. Let's see if we're both right. Moody Booty says, I'm ready for these games. Low-key could be the NFC Championship preview. And it could even be better than the Ravens and 49ers game yesterday. Also, which Doritos is better, nacho cheese or Cool Ranch? Cool Ranch. We got a few other tweets that are here. Slowly catching up, moving way faster than I thought. Let's see. Have I went backwards? Oh, no. Yeah, we're still here. Hoodies A says, I'm currently playing Madden, catching picks with Minka. I'm too nice. Shout out to you, but you need to be on the Hot Mic app, listening to the Chiseled Adonis, called the Monday Night Football game. What you playing Madden for? Play a game, in betwixt the second quarter and the third quarter. You know what they call that? Halftime. All right, Bitter Samuel. What's up, Chiseled? Even though I'm watching Raw, I can still watch my homie on Hot Mic. Usually I was going to simulcast Raw as well. I'd put it up on my other laptop and just have it here in front of me. But I figured, we ain't doing that. We focused on football today. Brother Sanchez says, clearly we watched too many Chiseled Adonis videos during Thanksgiving. No, this is not a genjutsu. Oh, wow. All right. People are calling their families. They're calling the Kirk Cousins, Kirk family member. Let me know if I have influenced the way that you watch football now. If you start saying people's nicknames, or you start calling things genjutsus, or you're saying that people are throwing apple turnovers, let me know if I've changed the way that you're watching football. All right? Back to the game that we go. From the 21-yard line comes Seattle. Russell Wilson takes the snap. He hands the football to Rashad Penny. It's only going to be a pickup of 2 yards, taken to the ground by Barr, setting up 2nd and 8. Back to Twitter world we go. Kyle Cole says, locked in. Diglett looking like he's got a few plays in him. Absolutely. Charles Jackson says, let's go Jags. Minshew Mania all the way. Jags playoff push. We're not sure if that can happen. All right, Gap Tooth Assassin says, make a video about every NFL team's greatest player. That would be interesting. I'm not sure what else I would say. Maybe a commentary on their best play. Let me know. Perhaps in the future we could cover that. Stephen Oates says, Drew Lock is the future of the Broncos. We will see. Bitter Samurai says, the Bears are not making it. They are not. Dominique Luther says, will you be on Hot Mic for the college playoffs? Who knows? Perhaps, as the pass sails incomplete towards Jacob Hollister as it bounced off of the turf at the 48-yard line. Warm Kessel Zach 14 says, actually before his injury in 2017, he was the same year he was going to win the MVP. I think there's a conversation regarding the Eagles and the Cowboys. Yes, indeed it was. All right, L. Dot asked, who's winning the NFC East? I still stand by the Eagles winning the NFC East. Dylan Dunn, as always, tuning in, says, surprised that the Texans won last night. I'm not. I predicted them to win. Not as handily as they did, but I had a feeling they were going to win that game in NRG. Russell Wilson takes the snap, pass over the middle. It's caught by Hollister, but he's participating in the Frank Costanza challenge because once again, Seattle would stop short and fail to pick up the first down, setting up a 4th and 1 situation at the 30-yard line. What is Pete Carroll going to do? Not run the gamble. He's headed to the sideline along with Russell Wilson. Or I should say he's calling Russell Wilson to the sideline. Why would Pete Carroll be headed to the sideline? That is where he's at. As the punt unit comes onto the field to punt it back. And somebody just briefed me that Kai Forbath has been waived by the New England Patriots. Spurman says, Bengals finally winning a game. Absolutely. Absolutely. Congratulations to them. Psychotic One. Thank you very much. True Psychotic One. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. All right, we are caught up on Twitter world. I'll keep it right in front of me. All right. 8642 says, can we send the NFC East to the Shadow Realm? We should. We absolutely should. Shout out to Web. Is that Web Slinger in the chat room on Hot Mic? Shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. Creeper Killer. The Patriots defense screwed him over. He needed those points. Well, that wasn't the night to start him. I said in my pregame analysis, I felt like Russell, or I should say Deshaun Watson was going to pull out a great performance, and damn it, he did. I'm still marveling at that option that they ran. I did not expect that. Miles says he's a Redskins fan, and he was wondering what I think hindered their production this year. Well, first and foremost, I would say the lack of knowing where they were going with the quarterback position. We saw Colt McCoy start a game this season. Case Keenum was the original starter. Then he's benched. Dwayne Haskins doesn't get the call until way later. Just the lack of transparency from the quarterback position really cost them. And more importantly, health. Also, they needed Trent Williams at a left tackle early. They desperately needed him. So they just got to get that fixed. Figure out what you want to do at quarterback. Shivang Patel says, hey, Chiseled Adonis, watched your Week 13 commentary. Loved the segment about the Indy mascot. Couldn't stop laughing. You know, I find that funny. Apparently, he always, blue is what they call him. He always does that humping thing, no matter whether they score or they get screwed over. It's very bizarre, but I enjoyed it. Xavier says, Dan Snyder, you are damn right. I completely forgot to mention him. He needs to go. If Washington needs to make any sort of turnaround, they need to kick this man out. Bottom line, they're not going anywhere until they get rid of that man. Maverick, the Enigma says top 5 receivers in the NFL. Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins. Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins. Those are the top 3 for sure. I feel as if Davante Adams, 4. I want to say Mike Evans, but you know what? I have to. And I'm not even talking about just this season. I'm talking about right now because AB now being gone. Initially, the big 3 was AB, Julio, and DeAndre Hopkins. They were in a whole other world. Michael Thomas, because of the production, I'm not one to thrust somebody in there after 2 seasons. I need to see the sample size for a large period of time. And he kept it up without Drew Brees in there. Now it's, oh, wait a minute, he's elite. So he has pushed himself in there too. Mike Thomas has always been good. He has always been good. But, I feel as if he's slightly under that top tier. He's top 2 tier. That's where he is right there. Pass towards the right, caught by Stephon Diggs. He's probably going to be stopped a little bit short. They're going to say he's down. Oh, no, the referee's going to give him the first down. Good on the referees. He extended and picked up that first down. I'm not going to say Odell. I will not say Odell. Mocking Raven says Julian Edelman. No. Julian Edelman is not. I would say Julian Edelman is like the top. He's lucky if he's the top 2 tier. He's definitely a 3rd, and he's in conversation for the 2nd. But I cannot say if you take Julian Edelman and you put him on a whole different team, is he still going to be doing what he's doing? I'm not too sure. That's not to call Julian Edelman a scrub because he's not. Tyreek Hill, there it is. That was the 5th. Tyreek Hill. I have Tyreek Hill slightly over Michael Thomas, over Mike Evans. That's what was in my mind. I'm sitting over here like, why can't I remember? Kenny Golladay is balling. All right, he has slowly put himself into the top 2, the 2nd tier. T.Y. Hilton is in that 2nd tier as well. Amari Cooper, he's in that 2nd tier. Thank you very much to Minnesota Man for reminding me about Tyreek Hill. Somebody said John Brown. I can't necessarily say he's anywhere near. He's probably in like the 4th tier. Well, we only got like 3 tiers. So John Brown is like in the 4th. He's having a very good season, but I can't put him up there. We are going Hughes 518 says Jarvis over Odell. I would agree with you. When it comes to wide receiver talent, Odell may be the most talented receiver we have ever seen touch the football. However, Jarvis, I can't deny how good Jarvis is, man. He may be a possession receiver, but damn it, he good. Jordan Murray says most underrated receiver is Allen Robinson. I would agree if A.J. Green didn't exist. I think people overlook how good A.J. Green is. A.J. Green is an absolute beast. Zay says, what about Chris Godwin? Chris Godwin is balling this season. Balling. If he can keep this up, he can slowly put himself into that conversation. All right, Adam Thielen is in the top. He's in the 2nd tier. He had very, very good back-to-back seasons. This season was really a hindrance because of injury, but he's in that 2nd tier. I can't put him with the Julios and the ABs and the Michael Thomases and the DeAndre Hopkins of the world. He's in that 2nd tier with the Amari Coopers and the Mike Evans. Well, Mike Evans is like 1.5. He's like in between 2 and 1. Creeper Killer says Mac would be a top running back if he didn't get hurt. You know what? You damn right. You are. Marlon Mack is balling, man. Amir says Alshon Jeffrey, I gotta put him in the top in the 3 tier. Larry Fitzgerald, it's not even. He's in the top 2 tier because he's no longer in his prime, but he's still giving. He's the first ballot Dreadlocks MVP. Juju's in the 3 tier. Juju is in the 3 tier. He's not in the top. Somebody said Alshon Jeffrey. Ben said Alshon Jeffrey is tier 4. That ain't right. Steven Nelson, ain't that the corner? Zach, that's a corner. DJ Moore, he's probably in 3. Keenan Allen, he is in the 2 tier. Keenan Allen is one of the best route runners in the NFL. I would say, with the potential to get to a top tier, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, and there's one other name, Devontae Adams, because he's like this far away. As the Minnesota Vikings pick up the first down, pass to Ham. Once again, Ham is making his presence felt. He says Thanksgiving may have been 4 days ago, but keep this Ham on the field. Jordan, Devontae Parker is in the 3 tier, in my opinion. Yesterday? You kidding me? Somebody need to call up Peter the way he was abusing those Eagles. They could not cover him. They could not cover him whatsoever. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Wow, they're still in their own territory. All right, as Dalvin Cook only picks up, well, it's going to be 2 yards. I think they're going to give him 2 yards on this particular run. We'll see what happens. Setting up a 2nd and 8 situation. KJ Lamar asked Robert Woods. I'd put Woods in the 3 tier. Cortland Sutton, kind of early for him, but I'd probably put him in the 3 tier. Dominique Luther says Emmanuel Sanders. I'd put him in the 3 tier. Sherrod Petaway says thoughts on Jari Alexander. I think he's a very good defender. He has room for improvement, but I think he has the intangibles to be a very, very good player. 2nd and 8. Cousins looking towards his left, connects with Kyle Rudolph, the red zone reindeer. Good Lord, what a hit. You kidding me? What a hit. That wasn't even Kyle Rudolph. But golly, are you kidding me? Get a replay of that hit. That's a grown man hit stick. Good Lord in heaven. No, don't show Kirk Cousins. Look at what just happened. Look at this hit here. Smith thinks he's going to make someone miss. Get on the floor. You've got to be kidding me. Get on the floor. Golly, what a hit. That's good football, man. That's good football. Somewhere Cam Chancellor's watching in his Seattle home slightly erect at the hit that just happened. My Lord. 3rd and 2 from the 42-yard line. Kirk Cousins takes the snap. He's going to roll towards his left. Still nobody open. Fading towards his back. He throws it out of bounds. Incomplete. They're going to punt the football. We're still at a tie game with 6:49 left to play in the half. The ball's going back to Seattle. Take a look at Jadeveon Clowney on this play. Keeps pursuing. He does nothing. But it was 94 who was able to get to him. Here I thought Jadeveon Clowney made a play. There was no dreadlocks happening on that play. Britton Colquitt to punt the ball back to David Moore. Brenton says, what about D-Jax? D-Jax at this point he's a 3 tier for me. Tyler Lockett, he's a 3 tier. Golden Tate, he's a 2 tier. Golden Tate has all of that talent. I just think he's in a bad position now being in the Giants. You know what? I'll put Golden Tate back down to a 3 tier. Devontae Adams or Stephon Diggs, that's being asked by Sherrod Petaway. Devontae Adams, without question. That was a slobber knocker of a hit. You got to be kidding me. Great call out by Zim85. Scared of what? Says, has Aaron Rodgers lost a step? Not at all. Not at all. Alex Harris asked Marvin Jones. That's a very good bringer. Marvin Jones is a 2 tier. YYVD says Kittle is the best tight end. No. Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the NFL. He's done it for longer. Kittle is a new kid on the block, but Kittle has to still beat out Zach Ertz. So I still have Travis Kelce as the best tight end in the NFL. Michael Crabtree, come on now. He's like a 4 tier at this point. The Cutter 101 says, it's Greg Olsen, the best tight end. Greg Olsen, no. He used to be in the conversation, but he's clearly lost a step. He got knocked out in a very scary hit yesterday, but he'll be fine. Let's see. Nasmik says the top 3 cornerbacks in the league right now. Jalen Ramsey for sure. Stephon Gilmore is number 1. Jalen Ramsey and Stephon Gilmore, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay. No, not Darius Slay. I can't use Darius Slay. Marshawn Latter. You know what? I think I would have to say. I think I'd have to say Kyle Fuller, man. I think I'd have to say Kyle Fuller. Oh, shout out to Jordan Murray. Well, good Lord, we got the same thought. Kyle Fuller, there it is. Xavier says, Jari, you know you couldn't make the argument, but damn it, Kyle Fuller's on another level, man. He finally found his hands. If you remember his rookie season, the man probably dropped about like 8 interceptions. It could have easily been a bunch of INTs. Marlon Humphreys is balling, but I wouldn't say he's better. Brian said Marcus Peters. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't fall for the genjutsu. Marcus Peters gets beat all day. He's just one of those. He's one of those corners who take a risk. If you look at his numbers, you would think he's shut down. He is not. Marcus Peters is one of those people who catch 2 interceptions but give up 250 receiving yards. And you'll end the game like, if you look at the statistics, you're like, whoa, he must have been killing, until you find out he was really getting torched all game. Xavier Rhodes, hell no. Hell no. 2 years ago, you'd have an argument. Now, not so much. Hand off to Chris Carson. Pick up of 14 yards. Moving the chains for the Seattle Seahawks. Chris J says, Josh Norman, if you don't, listen, go to the bathroom, look into the mirror, slap what you see. Why would you ever say Josh Norman? Somebody says Denzel Ward. He's good. Shaquille Griffin, playing very well, but I wouldn't put him over there. Tre'Davious White. Thank you for bringing him up, Miles. He is playing sensational. Tre'Davious White. But would I put him over Kyle Fuller? Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You guys got me. Tre'Davious White. KJ Lamar, Casey Hayward, absolutely not. Chase says Byron Jones. No. Tre'Davious White, he's balling. Seamus, Minkah Fitzpatrick plays safety. Don't bring him up. Xavier, Josh Norman was good that 1 year in 2015. After that, he didn't do too much. Desmond King, not really. 2nd and 9 from the 22-yard line. Here comes Seattle. All right, I believe this should be their 5th possession of the game. Russell Wilson, shotgun formation, trips to his left. Takes the snap. All right, he's got a little bit of protection. Pass ricocheted into the air. Tipped again. It's intercepted by the Minnesota Vikings. Walking into the end zone. The dreadlock powers being activated for the Vikings touchdown. Harris with the pick 6. He's headed to McDonald's. Can I get a McPick 6? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Purple people eaters in this female dog. You talk about an INT. Look at what happened here. That's good hands at the line, then ricocheted off other people's fingertips. Who saw that coming? Not this guy. Touchdown, Minnesota. They take the lead. Look at Watts with the hands in the air. Then Russell Wilson playing a little bit of volleyball only to get it intercepted. Perhaps he should not have put his hands on that ball. Bad idea. Like a male prostitute, the first time he gets an opportunity, he's going to be, when he's in the squad car after getting arrested, he's wondering, man, I shouldn't have touched that ball. That is Russell Wilson thinking about that right now. Desmond Trufant, I can't put him in the top 3. Out comes Dan Bailey, and he kicks the extra point, and it's good. 14-7 lead in favor of the Minnesota Vikings. What a play. I did not see that one coming. Xavier says Richard Sherman is playing good. He always plays good, but he's not as good as he once was. That's not an indictment on Richard Sherman because, in my opinion, he still is a top 6 corner in the league. But I would not put him over Kyle Fuller. I would not put him over Tre'Davious White. I would not put him over Jalen Ramsey. I would not put him over Stephon Gilmore. Good Lord. Jordan Murray, you know what? He says Russell Wilson is retarded. I get what Russell Wilson was trying to do, but you can't just blindly hit a football into the air. That was ASA 7, ASA 8, ASA 9. Not smart whatsoever. Zach says, what about Steven Nelson? He is not in that category of corner. All right. Best middle linebacker this season. Is Darius Leonard an outside linebacker or is he an inside linebacker? I think he's an inside backer, but not playing middle linebacker. Whatever the case is, I'd probably have to lean towards Bobby Wagner as always. Bobby Wagner, Luke Kuechly. Somebody said Artie Burns. All right, that was enough for me. That's enough for me when we talk about cornerbacks. Josh says, nah, Adonis, prime Richard. No, if we're talking about prime Richard Sherman, then that's not even a question who's the best corner in the league. Prime Richard Sherman was above and beyond better than other people. He was better than Revis, in my opinion, from the minute that he came to the league. Now, granted, Revis was locking people down, but Richard Sherman, his first 3 years, was on another level. I think he had 20 INTs in his first 3 years, and it wasn't no, cherry-picking sort of situations like Marcus Peters. This man was shutting people down, man. Don't give me that. Prime Richard Sherman. I know what I'm talking about. We're talking about Sherman right now. Darius Leonard plays outside linebacker? Fair enough. Fair enough. But volleyball player of the year, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Chris J. Here we go. Russell Wilson, another opportunity to answer. Pass to DK Metcalf. It's caught. He carries it to the 47-yard line. Russell Wilson damn near got Alzheimer's. He got dementia. He doesn't remember what just happened on the last drive. He's one of those quarterbacks who can move on. Somebody said DeMario Davis. He's balling right now, but I can't say he's in the a top one. Zach says top 3 pass rushers this year: TJ Watt, Cameron Jordan, and, well, damn, Myles Garrett ain't playing no more, so I can't really say Myles Garrett. And Nick Bosa. I'd say those 3. Pardon me, Shaquille Barrett. Over, I think I'd put him over Nick Bosa. I think I'd say TJ Watt, Cam Jordan, Shaquille. Then again, Shaq Barrett ain't really do too much since that first 5 games when he had all of those sacks. We'll see in time. But 4 minutes left to play for the Seattle Seahawks. At the 50-yard line, Russell Wilson takes the snap from the 50. Well, not really, but he's got trips towards his left. Now he takes the snap, dumps it off towards his right. It's caught by Rashad Dime, Rashad Nickel, Rashad Dollar, Rashad Penny. He's going to pick up a Seattle first down, and he gets out of bounds. That will stop the clock. No, he doesn't. He doesn't pick up the first down. He's going to be stopped short. 3rd and 1 situation. Let's see if he stepped out of bounds. He did not, and he stretched that football. You know what? That's a first down. That's a first down. If I'm Pete Carroll, I might just put that flag down, man. I don't think it's worth risking a timeout here, but damn it, you got 3 left. Why not? That should be a first down. Xavier says Shaq is about to get paid. Absolutely. Chandler Jones is brought up by Brian Linker. You're damn right. Chandler Jones is always balling year in and year out. Here we go. That should have been a false start. That should have been a false start on the fullback. All kinds of time for Russell Wilson. Connects with Jacob. We don't wear Haynes. We wear Hollister. Moving the chains for the Seahawks. Guess you didn't have to challenge for that first down. Somebody, Shavang Patel says, is Metcalf wearing a pacifier? Well, it surely does look like he is. Dylan Dunn says, I thought the Bengals would have ensured that they would have had the worst season and go for Joe Burrow for a first overall pick. They're still going to have the worst record. Just because you won a game doesn't mean you're not going to have the first round pick, but I know what you mean. Teddy says, I would rather is the only way me and my brother talk shit anymore. I'm happy that you guys adopted the style and really enjoy it. Play action fake for Russell Wilson. He's got to get rid of the football here. He takes off, and he's going to slide for a gain of 3. If there are Seahawks fans hoping he should have got a flag for roughing the passer after sliding and being hit, he got hit on the midst of going to slide. That is fair game. That's good football. Tyson says the 2017 running back class is insane. Absolutely. Anthony Marshall says, what about Scary Terry in his rookie season with Washington? I know you're referencing Terry McLaurin. He is balling. Mark Ackerman says, what a play. What a hit on that replay. Little boy. Ethan says, Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson is still elite, but damn it, he's not what he once was. And Rashad Penny picks up the first down for the Seattle Seahawks. They're now at the 12-yard line, approaching 1st and goal. Tyson says, Malcolm Butler, do not go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, slap what you see. Malcolm Butler, you out of your mind? All right, and Bitter Samurai says, so the Dreadlock King Hopkins is in top tier or is on the top tier, or am I tripping? Yes, I said he's top tier. DeAndre Hopkins is top tier. All right. Who were I most surprised with this season? Zay asked me that question. Was it Lamar Jackson? I can't say it was Lamar Jackson. There was somebody else who completely shocked me. Why is this escaping me? Why is this escaping me? There's somebody who was balling out of their mind and completely shocked me. I think I'm going to have to roll with Lamar Jackson until this person's name comes back to me. But playing very well. Daniel Hunter, when we're talking about defensive tackles on YouTube. Scott Peterson asked me on YouTube, who's your fantasy 3-man pass rush? Reggie White? Well, then again, pass rush isn't only relegated to defensive linemen. So I would have to say, oh, wow, this is going to be great. Deacon Jones is 3-man pass rush. Deacon Jones, Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor. Give me those 3. Deacon Jones, Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor. I think I get every quarterback. I don't think anybody blacks that. Samuel says Josh Jacobs in Oakland. He's my offensive rookie of the year. He is my offensive rookie of the year. Power Ninja says Josh Allen at QB. You know what? I'm more impressed at how Josh Allen has played this season than Lamar Jackson. Because I expected Lamar Jackson to play well, not this well, but I expected Josh Allen to be average, not this good. So I think Josh Allen has surprised me the most this season. Christian McCaffrey, I'm not surprised at this man at all. In my opinion, Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league right now. Sorry. Sorry, Saquon. Sorry, Zeke. Sorry, Dalvin. Sorry. Christian McCaffrey's on a whole other level this year. Jordan says Teddy's going to get paid. Absolutely. Ravens fan says Ray Lewis to rush the passer? Alex Harris says, how good was Jordy Nelson? Jordy was very good, but he benefited from a very good system and relationship with Aaron Rodgers. I think if you put Jordy Nelson on a team like Tampa Bay, he's not as good. But that's not an indictment on Jordy Nelson because he was a very, exceptional receiver. But he really did benefit from having, at the time, the greatest quarterback talent of all time. Now I think that's since been passed to Mahomes because Mahomes and Rodgers is, for me, I would have to, matter of fact, I can't even put Mahomes over Rodgers right now when it comes to quarterback talent. I think I'd say Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Rodgers, Mahomes, Marino, and then the list just ends like right there. Jacob Hollister picks up about 1. That's going to set up 2nd and 9. One of the most beautiful things that I love about being tackled teams tackled or setting up 1st and 10 from the 12 or 11-yard line, I love the idea of being able to pick up a first down that would be inside the 5. I love that. The one thing that has always been a pet peeve is 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. I feel like I've been screwed. I'd always feel like I've been screwed. Jordan Murray asks the most disappointing team or player. Most disappointing team, I would have to say the Rams. Most disappointing player, Jared Goff. Initially, I was going to say the Bears, but I foresaw the Bears performing like this. The Rams, not so much. Russell Wilson rolling towards his right. Does he have time? He has to throw the football away, but there might just be a flag here for roughing the passer. I saw some helmet-to-helmet contact. There was no flag on the floor. The pass could have been caught, but his receiver's probably asking himself, I wish I was taller. Look at the protection breakdown over here. Russell Wilson gets outside. He could not run. He passed that to... Take a look at the hit. Oh, no, it was just a legal hand. No, it was a good hit. That's a good hit. There was no helmet-to-helmet. That was just hands to the shoulder pad. Brian says the most disappointing team was the Browns. For him, fair enough. But I foresaw the Browns performing the way that they did. I said on the first episode of the Hold My Nuggets podcast when we spoke about the Browns, I said that they were not going to do very good this season. I had a feeling they're going to either be a 5-11 football team. I said between 5-11, and I think their ceiling would be 7-9. That's how I felt about the Browns coming in because I knew there's way too many egos. So I did not expect them to come out and play a very good game. All right? The chase for the NFC North. The Packers, next 4 games, the Redskins, Bears, Vikings, Lions. For the Vikings, the Lions, Chargers, Packers, Bears. What does that mean? It's a tougher road for the Vikings to get that NFC North title versus what's going to happen for the Packers. What I see right here for the Packers are 3 winnable games against the Redskins, Bears, and Lions, and only a tough matchup against Minnesota. Thus far, Seattle has ran 33 plays in contrast to the 16 for the Vikings. Total yards, Seattle 182 to the Vikings 134. Time of possession 18 for Seattle, 10 for Minnesota. But Seattle has an INT and they're trailing by a touchdown because of the pick 6 on the last drive. But can they punch the football in here? With 1:08 left to play, down 14-7. 3rd and 9. Russell Wilson takes the snap. He's got a little bit of time. He throws it over the middle to pass. Incomplete to Tyler Lockett. No flags on the field. They're going to have to settle for a Jason Myers field goal. And one has to wonder, if Russell Wilson tucked that football, could he have ran that football in? Look at the replay here. Tyler Lockett would appear to be some sort of hook or curl that he ran here. It was late. The pass was late. He was open a little bit earlier. I wish they showed a little bit of the replay earlier. I would have been happy to see that. Somebody said KJ Lamar says the Chargers were disappointing this year. They absolutely were. 8 losses of 7 points or less. That is atrocious. 29-yard attempt for Myers. Kicks it through the uprights. It's good. Cuts the deficit 2-4 as the Vikings would maintain a 14 to now 10 lead with 58 seconds left to play in the first half. Chris J says the most disappointing player he thinks is OBJ. I think that's more attributed to Baker Mayfield than it is to OBJ. Alex Harris agrees, saying that the Chargers is the most disappointing. Thomas Garrett says the Browns were overhyped. Michael Rocket says, screw you guys, I'm going to eat some gumbo. Well, UPS some over to New York. I don't think it's going to be, edible by the time that happens. But still. Have I frozen? Somebody said I frozen. What are you turning on a Disney movie? How have I frozen? Oh, no, I'm perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, King Art says, do you believe Eli Manning should be a Hall of Famer? Absolutely not. Eli Manning should not be a Hall of Famer. He should be far away from the Hall of Fame, but I think he's going to get in because of, 1, the last name, and 2, who he beat in the Super Bowl. Eli Manning's accolades have nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with who he did things against. When we look at Eli Manning's career, how many times has he won the NFC East? 4, maybe, in 16 years? If you're even lucky that it was 4. I don't even think it was 4. Was it 3, maybe? Eli's not a Hall of Famer. All right, he's simply not. He's only had about 4 good seasons. Honestly, about 4 or maybe 5, you can make the argument, of good seasons over the course of his entire career. Yes, he's top 10 in passing categories. However, right now, I kid you not, right now, Eli has played 16 years. If Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan both play that same timeline, they'll end in the top 10. Do we give them a Hall of Fame bid? And when we talk about the Giants Super Bowl wins, we only talk about who he beat in the Super Bowl. Well, he beat the GOAT. No, he played against the Patriots defense as the pass sales incomplete. You got to keep in mind, the Pats were the number 1 offense of all time in 2007. They got held to 14 points. Give some credit to that Giants offense, or I should say the Giants defense, for keeping them even close in the game. All right? Because his first Super Bowl run, he was pretty much average. He did not do too much. In my opinion, he shouldn't have got the MVP. It should have went to Strahan or somebody else on the D-line for that first Super Bowl. The second Super Bowl, Eli Manning balled. Dalvin Cook gets the handoff. He's going to pick up about 8. No, it's going to be 9 on the play. Minnesota still has 3 timeouts. They should use one here. 3rd down and 1. Are they going to go to the half? What is Mike Zimmer doing? Because Kirk Cousins coming to the line. Quick handoff to Dalvin Cook. He gets just enough for the first down. Mike Zimmer is calling timeout now, and I believe they're going to call this a first down. I'm not understanding why he didn't call timeout with 44 seconds left to play. What is the purpose? I'm very perplexed. You just lost 20 seconds for a 1-yard gain. Jordan Murray says, do you think Devin Hester is a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. Devin Hester is the greatest returner of all time and impacted the game in a completely different way. And when you talk about the story of football and you talk about special teams, you cannot talk about special teams without Devin Hester. When you talk about quarterbacks, you can write the story of the well, you can't really write the story of the NFL without Eli Manning because you had an undefeated season that ended up, not happening because of Eli, or I should say because of the Giants. So of course I would understand that argument, but still, Devin Hester, he's a Hall of Famer. Connor Norris says, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald in their prime. I guess he's talking about his top three wide receivers of all time. If I was to pick my top three wide receivers of all time, I would say Jerry Rice, number one, without question. Give me Jerry Rice, Don Hutson, and I really want to stay Steve Largent right here. But I think I'm going to have to bypass Steve Largent and say give me to hell with it. Give me Terrell Owens. No, give me Terrell Owens. All right, dump off to Dalvin Cook. He's going to carry it to the 50-yard line, but the ball is loose on the ground. It's recovered by the Vikings. There should be an immediate timeout here. Why is time still going down? Somebody's not getting the call. Time is going all the way down to 0 here. There's not a simple – Mike Zimmer is damn near at the numbers to get this timeout call. Dalvin Cook appears to be hurt. There's a stinger. What happened here? Yordi asked, should I make a mock draft? No, I don't follow college football like that, so I don't think it would be quite favorable to my following. Yes, he did lose the football there. That should actually be even a further advancement for the Minnesota Vikings. In fact, this should go to the booth and stop the clock. If that does happen, the Vikings conserve their 2 timeouts, and more importantly, there should be 11 seconds on the clock if they're going to review this. There's a timeout for Minnesota. There should be 11 seconds on that clock. 12 seconds. They give them 12. All right, perfect. But still, they should be sitting here with 32 seconds left on the clock because they didn't go and call that timeout when they had 45 seconds and they had a second, or I should say a 3rd and 1 situation. Xavier says the disappointing player this year was Juju. He failed you in fantasy. Well, you should have saw that coming when Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. Juju's playing with a second and now a 3rd-string quarterback. What do you expect this man to do? More importantly, he's hurt. He's gone for like the last 2 games. All right. 12 seconds left to play at the 50. I think that's bullocks. The football should have been further. Kirk Cousins connects with Kyle Rudolph. He gets out of bounds. They do not have, well, they have only 1 timeout left. So very good job from Kyle Rudolph getting out of bounds. I still believe this should have been reviewed and advanced to about the 40-plus yard field goal. 40-plus yard marker. But there is Dan Bailey warming up on the sideline. The ball is at the Seattle's 39-yard line, where Seattle is trailing 14-10 in this NFC match battle between the 2 wild card teams at where they stand. Kirk family member Cousins takes the snap. You got to get rid of this football fast. Connects with Stephon Diggs. He's going to be down at the 29-yard line. They need a timeout. Indeed, they do. Zimmer's damn near at the 20-yard line. And onto the field comes Dan Bailey. Let's do a little bit of math right here, because if you're at the 29-yard line, you know they got to go back by about 17 or 18 for that field goal. So if my math does me correct, this would be a 46-yard field goal. 46 or 47-yard field goal coming up. Wait, why did I say 46 or 47? Actually, yeah, I think 46 or 47-yard field goal. He is 15 of 17 thus far this season. Let's see if he can make this kick from 47 yards out. Right hash mark for Dan Bailey. The SpongeBobs in Dallas are out. He kicks the ball. Is it hooking to the left? No, it's not. It's through the uprights, and it's good. We've got a touchdown lead for Minnesota going into the half, and they will receive the second half kickoff, leading the Seattle Seahawks 17-10. Connor Norris asked me, what do I think about Juju speeding 104 miles per hour? I think that's absolutely ludicrous. What the hell was wrong with him? Teal City Sports says Sammy Ball or Taysom Hill. I would say, slinging Sammy Ball was good in his day, so I think I'd probably have to go with slinging Sammy Ball. Let's see. I see somebody asked me about the Hall of Famers in this current class. If I had the list in front of me, I would rattle off who I think should get in, but we'll see. And currently we have 313 in the room, but only 161 likes on YouTube. Do me a favor and hit that like button for me. Let's see if we can get it to 200. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Hot Mic app. We're interacting on Hot Mic. We've still got 60 plus people in the room. Do me a favor, if you're on YouTube, if you have an iPhone or you got yourself an Android, download the Hot Mic app. If you got Android, you pre-register. If you have a iPhone, you can download the app and use the promo code Adonis. You can watch me in real time. The people on Hot Mic have the benefit of already seeing everything up to speed, up to date, because the commentary is synced with their television. And here on Hot Mic, we give power back to the creator. You don't gotta listen to the broadcasters or Booger McFarland and all those other people who are on your television. Listen to the creator of your choice live on the Hot Mic app. Very groundbreaking. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to download the app. Use the promo code Adonis. Absolutely free. You're going to have a good time. Connor Norris asked, you should do a Steelers Madden rebuild, and Xavier would respond with the response I was going to say. He don't play Madden. He said, I don't. The Maddens that are in front of me, I'm looking at my N64 cartridge, Madden 99. I see my Nintendo GameCube, Madden 2006. I see my PlayStation 2, Madden 2009, and I no longer have any other Maddens. Rob Gronkowski cannot return to the New England Patriots as they just passed their deadline. Belma 6329 says, who is the most disappointing team this year based on the talent they have? The Browns. It's the Browns. That's a layup. It's the Browns. Caden Romy says, Romine says, what do you think is the greatest play of all time? Immaculate reception. Immaculate reception. Yeah, the immaculate reception. I'd have to say that is probably the greatest play of all time. The Miracle in Miami play is up there too. You can't discount the lateral play. What was it in the Jaguars? The lateral when the Jaguars played against the Saints and then they missed the extra point. You can't discount that. I don't. What would be another play? I think that may be it. I think those are like the top three for me. But I'd have to say the immaculate reception. Music City Miracle was a very good play too. The Music City Miracle was a very good play too. Tony Thatch says, "Go Heat." Absolutely, go Miami Heat. And now go Miami, go. That's how I feel about them. Jordan Murray says that was the luckiest play of all time. I would agree. Lamar Brownie says, what chance do you give the Bills to go on a playoff run? You know, it all depends on who they see in the wild card. If the Patriots mess around and let's say if the Bills win out, they win the division. Because they're only one game behind the Patriots. And more importantly, if they beat the Patriots, that gives them the tiebreaker, and now they have an opportunity to win. Or I should say they have an opportunity to mess around and be the 2 seed. Or matter of fact, no, they could be the 1 seed if they win out. Because they're going to play against the Ravens. So holy Toledo, if the Bills win out, they're the 1 seed. So we'll see. But I think the Bills can make a playoff run, to be quite honest with you. If let's say they go into the playoffs at the 5 seed that they are right now, they would go against the Texans. Be quite honest with you, I like the Bills against the Texans and winning against the Texans. I think the Bills defense, although you just did see the Texans beat the Patriots, and I understand that's a very tough, that's a very cold take to go and make after watching them beat the Patriots. So I understand why you would have like eyebrow raising, your eyebrows going through your hairline. But you know what? I think the Bills and Texans can be a very, very good game. Matter of fact, no, I think the Texans are the 3 seed right now, and the Chiefs are the 4 seed. Whichever one it is, I think the Bills can beat both of those teams. Will they? No. But I think that they can. I think the Bills can make a playoff push, man. I think they can make a playoff push. If they play against the Ravens, I would say it depends on what we see this upcoming week against Baltimore. But I like the Bills, man. I like the Bills. Cameron says, still can't believe you didn't mention Aaron Donald as the best pass rusher. You know, this season, I can't put Aaron Donald. He said the top 3 this season. All time, I wouldn't take Aaron Donald over Deacon Jones or Deacon. Who did I say? I said Deacon Jones, Lawrence Taylor, and Reggie White. And the pass rushers this season: T.J. Watt, Cam Jordan, and Shaq Barrett, and also there was another person's name as well. But yeah. Ed Jones. Good Lord, that is a long name. I'm going to say it. On Hot Mic, there's a very peculiar name here. Yo, it's your boy Devin, the motherfreaking God. And I just wanted to say that Bob is the fattest bitch in the world, in the whole world. And I am the best poop. Yeah, your boy poop. Fuck shit, that. Damn, Donald Trump, that's a long name, bruh. That is a long name. I can't believe you sat there and typed all of that. I'd love to read it in succession, but that's a tongue twister in itself. That is a long name. And you just wrote bro. Your name is as long as a Monday, and you wrote bro. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Comment of the day goes to this gentleman right here. That's something. That is something. Frank Gore, future Hall of Famer, absolutely. Jay Reese says Frank Gore is the most underrated running back. Can we say that? I think he was rated the right way. When I made my argument for Frank Gore before, when I was talking about making the NFL all-time team, I feel as if he was omitted from those lists because let's just be honest, and this is an objective lens. Was Frank Gore ever a top 3 running back in his prime? Because if we go year by year, look at the players that he was playing with and who played better than him. He was always in the top 5 conversation, but when we talk about top 3 running backs, year in, year out, from a production standpoint, you can say he hangs with them because we look at it from the after. We look at it in hindsight. We'll look how he outlasted everybody else. But let's just look at it. LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles, Maurice Jones-Drew, LaShawn McCoy, Le'Veon Bell, Chris Johnson, Steven Jackson, all of these different players at the time in which they were in their prime with Frank Gore was on the outside looking in. When it came to the top 3, he was maybe 4 or 5. Connor Norris, yes, Frank Gore was a lot like Emmitt Smith, reliable and consistent. However, he didn't make the impact that Emmitt Smith made. But then again, Emmitt Smith was blessed to be on a football team that was crafted to, continually go to the Super Bowls. Frank Gore was stuck in the same situation as Alex Smith, where you had 7 consecutive years with 7 different offensive coordinators. So the 49ers did him dirty. But with Frank Gore was a beast. Even Matt Forte, well, then again, Matt Forte was killing. Matt Forte, in my opinion, was this generation's Roger Craig. And it's truly unfortunate he didn't get his due, and he's going to go down as one of those running backs that people constantly forget about. Matt Forte was a beast. An absolute beast. Ben, you are correct. Some of those guys had a way better team, and they did. Because they did, they performed, better, and they were more in the limelight, and they got more of the contracts, or I should say the money and all those other stuff. You're absolutely correct. But when you look punch for punch, I can't say Frank Gore was top 3 in his prime year after year after year. Now, granted, the space in between, because I believe 1 and 2 had a little bit of a gap. When Adrian Peterson was at his peak, I don't think there were people that were close to him. But everybody, I'd say 2 to 5 was very crunched together. But I can't give, no, Connor Norris, Chris Johnson's not going to the Hall of Fame. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer. Sorry, he's not a Hall of Famer. Marshawn Lynch, I forgot to mention Marshawn Lynch. Thank you very much, Mr. Winters in YouTube. All right. Seamus Waters says Forte carried the Bears. Absolutely, he did. That 2010 season, man, if Jay Cutler ain't screwed him over, they could have went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was watching that NFC Championship like I kind of want Green Bay to lose because I feel as if Pittsburgh would get the W over Chicago. But then the competitor in me was like, no, I'm going to cheer for Green Bay because if you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man. If you want to win the championship, you want to beat the best team. And damn it, Green Bay, they took care of business. So that was one of those Super Bowl games in which when I finished, although my team lost, I had nothing but respect. I wasn't salty or nothing. I went to school. Everybody was, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost. I'm like, nah, it was a good game. Green Bay got the victory. Rashad Mendenhall did fumble, although unfortunately. But still, great game. Ethan says, what about the Chargers and Eagles? The Chargers would have potentially been undefeated if they didn't find ways to lose. I guess you're in reference of the most disappointing teams. Tyson says, is Edelman really that good? He's very... The Patriots system, it's why slot receivers look like they're gods. Because if you're on the inside, you're going to get the football fast. They play that middle of the field. All right? Arian Foster. Thank you very much, Last King LJ. Arian Foster. Marshall Faulk wasn't playing during that time. Don't do that. Rest in peace to Cedric Benson. Yes, Zim85, although he doesn't really, fit in this criteria. Tyson says the rule is that the player who fumbled must recover in under 2 minutes. Oh, interesting. I had no clue of that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bean, many great NFL teams have had nicknames like the greatest show on turf. What nickname would you call Baltimore Ravens this season? Big Trust. That's what I call him. I call him Big Trust. Bitter Samurai, what the hell? Stephen Oates says, who are your fantasy top 3 free safeties? Mine are Ryan Lott, Brian Dawkins, and Steve Atwater. My top 3 fantasy safeties, free safeties. Ed Reed. Give me Ed Reed. Was Kenny Easley a free safety? Give me Ed Reed, Kenny Easley, and give me Brian Dawkins. Yeah, and give me Brian Dawkins. And we got a kickoff for the second half. Goes out of the end zone. It's going to be a touchback, and here comes Minnesota onto the field, leading 17-10 over the Seattle Seahawks in CenturyLink Field. Up 50. Oh, well, they're up 15. There's 15 minutes on the clock. Sean Alexander, the comedic genius, you know what? Sean Alexander was still killing. He was an absolute beast. A lot of people overlook him. They act as if he only had a couple of good seasons when he did not. Look at the seasons 2000 to 2007. Sean Alexander is an absolute beast. In my opinion, he could sneak his way into the Hall of Fame after about 5 more years. He's definitely not first ballot because he would have been in already. But Sean Alexander is one of those people who get in when he's old. One of the biggest travesties in the NFL Hall of Fame was the fact that it took Jerry Kramer 50 years to get in. 50 years. More importantly, Donnie Shell is still not in the Hall of Fame. Roger Craig is still not in the Hall of Fame. Simeon Rice is not in the Hall of Fame. What are we doing? What are we doing? We need to increase the number of people who get enshrined from 7 or 8 to about 13, because there's a ton of the older players who haven't been in, and they're not going to be able to get in because a ton of these new age people, and we're creatures of the moment, mess around and be first ballot. As Dalvin Cook finds a banana, falls on it, and now he's playing a little bit of Mario Kart. 195 passes since Kirk Cousins' last interception. The longest streak in Vikings history. He just snapped, or I should say passed, Warren Moon for that accolade. Somebody, Risk Quero B says, what about Troy Polamalu? He's first ballot this year. There's no way Polamalu doesn't get in on the first ballot. You got to be kidding me. Empty formation for Kirk Cousins. He's going to take the snap from the 29-yard line. No, he's not. He steps and tells the protection to the offensive line. He takes the snap. Empty formation. Over the middle, Kirk. He gets hit. It's going to be a fumble. It's a live ball. It's scooped up inside the 10, but it's going to remain as a Vikings possession. What a heads-up play by the offensive line to get their hands on the football. Great pass rush from the Seattle Seahawks. Take a look at the replay over here. Coming from is that the left tackle who got to him? I think that's Reed. Is that Reed? Yes, it is. It's Reed. Look at the hit. That's a hit on the arm. The arm coming forward. That is indeed a fumble. One hand, Poppy Griffin did get back there, but he could not get his hands onto the football. And it's going to be a fourth down situation for Minnesota, having to punt, and their kicker will be in the end zone. I think there's going to be some questions here whether that was a forward pass. He did hit his elbow, so I can't necessarily say that's not a fumble, but the arm was going forward. You know, that football's out. I'm sorry. You know what? That could be deemed an incomplete pass. If they challenge, they have a legitimate argument. The Vikings are challenging the ruling on the field being a fumble. You know what? I get this challenge. I think they might mess around and win. The eye test would tell you, dude, that's a fumble. But look, he still has possession of that football when the arm is going forward, and then you know what? This might end up getting overcalled. This might end up getting overturned. I said overcalled. Good Lord. You know, I didn't even mean to say that about Griffin's hand. I didn't. I said he must have got his hands on, and then I saw the nub. And when you saw the nub, it's like, well, there it is. But yeah, I think this might be an incomplete pass. I think it's going to be an incomplete pass. I think they're going to overturn it. Junior says, what about Sean Taylor? He was an absolute monster on the field, man. Rest in peace to Sean Taylor. His anniversary of his death, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Mr. Winter says, why do people say Ed Reed is better than Troy Polamalu when Ed Reed is only effective against the pass? That's a lie. Ed Reed would mess up running backs in the run game. The reason why you cannot compare Ed Reed to Troy Polamalu is they played two different positions. Ed Reed was a free safety. Troy Polamalu played strong safety. If Ed Reed played strong safety, I do not believe his interception numbers would be as high as it was because he was able to just go play, as a midfielder back there. Troy Polamalu was making more tackles. He was out here being much more dynamic, forcing more fumbles, getting more sacks. That's what it was. You can't compare the two players. They played two different positions. It's unfair to do that. That's like comparing a cornerback to a safety. They played two different positions. The ball was going forward. It's an incomplete pass. That is a very good call. That's a very good call. Mass Spec says Devin Bush, defensive rookie of the year. He is close. I'd say Nick Bosa still does edge him out because Devin Bush hasn't really made a huge play. Although he did force that fumble against. Was it the Bengals? Yes, it was. He did force that fumble against the Bengals. But I think right now they're probably going to lean more towards Nick Bosa. But Devin Bush, he's still got some time to make a little bit more plays. But Devin Bush and Nick Bosa, it's a two-man race for Defensive Rookie of the Year in my opinion. Mike Brown was an underrated safety. I would say so. Yeah. Yes, Brian. You are correct. Yeah. I was right. It was the Bengals when he stripped Boyd. I think that was like inside the 25. Bob Sanders was an absolute beast. Rome the upsetter. Thank you for bringing up Bob Sanders. He was a beast. If this man could have stayed healthy, we could have been looking at a Hall of Famer. Bob Sanders was a beast when he was healthy. As the Seahawks will be getting the football back, looking to even up the score at 17 all. EJ King, you are correct. Nick Bosa does benefit from a good D-line, but hey, so does everybody on the Pittsburgh Steelers. We see Bush being able to make all of those plays because the penetration of the Pittsburgh line has been able to get to quarterbacks with only a 4-man pass rush. Silky Smooth says Devin Bush for Defensive Rookie of the Year if he ain't have that ugly-ass draft suit. Man, don't come at his suit like that. We've seen some ugly fits on draft day, haven't we? Nobody can forget. Was it Emmitt Smith with the polka dots? I think it was Emmitt Smith with the polka dots. That was terrible. Trill says Bob Sanders and Antoine Bethea. Antoine Bethea was very good, but he wasn't on the level of those other guys. Edgerrin James was a beast. I understand why he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He will get in the next 3 years. He will be in the next 3 years. Mass Spec says Bush is getting less playing time. Why? It's very bizarre. I feel as if I haven't seen him on the field as often as it was through the first 5-6 games. But whatever the case may be, it's working. So who knows? I get a question from Risk. Good Lord, I'm forgetting how to. I cannot pronounce your name. But Risquero B says, who's the best running back in this season? Christian McCaffrey, without question. That's how the white man runs the football. All right. Rome the Upsetter says, shout out to Shazier. Shazier was an absolute monster. In my opinion, had he not got hurt in 2017, he would have been the Defensive Player of the Year. Eat your heart out, Aaron Donald. I'm sorry. Ryan Shazier was on another level that year. If you look at his numbers through those first, he got hurt in week 14? No. Yeah, he got hurt Monday Night Football. I think it was week 14. Look at Shazier's numbers through those first 14 games and compare it to other people and go back and watch those. And oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. He was balling. Absolutely balling. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Hot Mic app. Do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, download the Hot Mic app on your iOS. Use the promo code Adonis. It is absolutely free, as you see listed, or I should say represented on your screen in the bottom left or right hand corner. And also, we have it on Android. Pre-register for the app. And when it does come out in the coming weeks, use the promo code Adonis. Hand off to Chris Carson. Pickup of about 3 yards is going to be 2nd and 7 from the 28-yard line. Pardon me, the 32-yard line. Power Ninja says Chad Johnson for the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, he will never get in. And it truly is unfortunate because he should have been a Hall of Famer, but he'll never get in. Look at the amount of receivers who are retiring now. He's not going to get in. There's a number of people who's not in yet. Hand off to Chris Carson, pickup of 7. This should be good enough for a Seattle first down, and I believe they're going to mark him and give him that first down. But I'll say this much. For Chad Johnson, why is he not getting in? You have, for Chad Johnson, Isaac Bruce is not in the Hall of Fame yet. Torrey Holt is not in the Hall of Fame yet. Hines Ward, not in the Hall of Fame yet. Calvin Johnson is on the way. AB soon will be eligible. All right, Larry Fitzgerald will be coming very soon. There's another receiver who retired. Steve Smith will become eligible not too long from now. Anquan Bolden will mess around and be on the ballot. All right. Chad Johnson, although he was an absolute dominant force when he was playing, they're going to put him behind those guys. Russell Wilson down the field, overthrows Tyler Lockett, and the pass is broken up by Harris. This could have easily been intercepted. If Tyler Lockett was a little bit taller, this would have worked out. Russell Wilson went to Jared. He got himself a Tyler Lockett, but turns out the girl rejected it and said, that's incomplete. I do not want it. A strike right down the middle of the field, and it was incomplete right through the mittens. Thus far tonight, Tyler Lockett had 2 targets, 0 receptions. Amari Cooper challenge. Julio as well, Sicky Smooth. Julio's a Hall of Famer without no doubt. There's no question about that. There should be a false start on Dwayne Brown here. As Russell Wilson finds Jacob Hollister, but he goes out of bounds after a 9-yard gain. And is going to set up 3rd and 1. And now go Cowboys, go. Although they're not playing, but thank you for shouting that out. All right, Andre Johnson, thank you very much, the comedic genius. Andre Johnson is a Hall of Famer as well. Donald Driver, he's in the same situation as Chad Johnson in my opinion. Santana Moss, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. Is Heath Miller a Hall of Famer? No. Heath Miller will go down as a legend in Pittsburgh. Calvin Johnson will be on the ballot as well. What do I think about Mike Evans' 600,000-yard season? I think he's a top tier receiver. Him and A.J. Green, both those two receivers that for some apparent reason people do not understand how good they are. Great tackle from Xavier Rhodes, trying to gut-wrench suplex created character DK Metcalf, but it was before he was able to, or I should say it was way too late because DK Metcalf picked up the first down. Great route from Metcalf. Made Rhodes think he was going deep and got at least 2 yards of separation, enough to pick up that first down and protects the football. We have seen a little bit of Butterfingers from DK Metcalf. Here we go. Hand off to Chris Carson. He's going to be stopped for a loss here. And it's big tackle out of bounds, and it's going to be an unnecessary roughness late hit on Xavier Rhodes, dropping Chris Carson to the ground. You know what? I don't agree with this call. But they're going to get him for an unnecessary roughness call. I'm not a big fan of this call here. They got the personal foul, unnecessary roughness. They're going to get him, but I'm not a big fan of that call. Reggie Wayne will be eligible as well. Greg Jennings, not a Hall of Famer. Brandon Marshall has an argument, but unfortunately, he's not going to make it. Brandon Marshall will be in the Chad Johnson territory. I'm happy you brought that up. Jordan Murray, shout out to you. I'm happy you brought that up. Scottish Ball says, have you ever thought about bringing a fan of the opposing, when I do my pregame analysis, bringing in a fan of the opposing team? I mean, I wouldn't mind. Right now, I only do it by myself. I would probably next year, I'm going to expand the pregame analysis show. I'm going to try to hold my nuggets. We're going to see how we're going to turn it into a radio show. That's what we want to do moving forward and make it like live call-ins, 2 hours, at least multiple times a week. Hand off to Chris. Get out of my car, son. Big time hole. Wider than a Kardashian vagina at a Mandingo party. Picks up a big time gain for the Seattle Seahawks inside the 10-yard line. What a run. Take a look at this hole over here. You got to be kidding me. Look at this hole. What I tell you in the first half, if this was played in Green Bay, you're looking at Swiss cheese. Big time pickup for Seattle. Great blocks up front, and Chris, get out of my car, son. Brings it inside the 10. What a run. He's down at the 5, and you already know the Seahawks will run the football. Although they've got a big formation here, I do not envision a circumstance in which they do not end up throwing. My Lord in heaven, they ran it again. Rashad Penny down at the 1. It's 2nd and goal. But remember, 2nd and goal is where they did not run the football. Let's take a look to see if he was indeed down. That knee goes down at the 2. The ball is spotted at the 1, and that is where the football should be. Amir says Brandon Marshall never made it to the playoffs, but he's playing receiver. That's not his fault. Look at Brandon Marshall's numbers year after year after year. This man was killing defenses. Big Boy Nut says, what are your thoughts on Terrell Pryor's situation? Unfortunate. Russell Wilson, toss outside to Rashad Penny. He goes into the end zone. They cut their deficit to 1 if Jason Myers can kick the extra point. Great job by Seattle. They are not graduates of Seattle Seahawks University. For some apparent reason, they're running the football inside the 5, and I am loving it. But I refuse to say I believe that it's going to happen every time, because if it happens and they're in the red zone again, I feel in my spirit they're going to go and throw the football. But of course, we ain't talking about that right now. What we're talking about is Rashad Dime, Rashawn Dollar, Rashad Nickel, Rashad Penny finding his way into the end zone for a Seattle Seahawks touchdown, and the miscolored discoloration highlighters find a way to score on a 9-play, 71-yard, 4-minute, 20-second drive, and the extra point goes through the uprights. It's good. We've got a tie game in CenturyLink Field. The Seattle Seahawks go down the field and even up the score at 17-all. Let me take one look at Twitter World and see what's going on over there. Gap Tooth Assassin says Ed Reed blew his coverage so he can confuse Peyton Manning when he watched film. Absolutely. I remember that story. That is ridiculous. All right. Nick asks, Rose has played awful this game. Absolutely. Fly Guy Gray says, do you think Marshawn Lynch will be in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely. I think Marshawn Lynch will get in after about a 6 to 10 year wait. If Chris Carter had to wait, Marshawn Lynch got to wait. If Edgerrin James had to wait, Marshawn Lynch got to wait. If Curtis Martin had to wait, Marshawn Lynch got to wait. All right, Daquan, as Darrelle Revis for Hall of Fame, Darrelle Revis will be a Hall of Famer. He'll be a Hall of Famer. First ballot, I don't think he should be, but I think he'll end up being a Hall of Famer. All right, I think Darrelle Revis was slightly overrated because they were talking about Revis and Dion when they talk about shut down corners. Revis was very good for 3 years, or actually it was like a 5-year span. But a couple of those years, I honestly don't believe he was as good as people thought that he was. That 2007 season, without question, magnificent. 2008, 2009, magnificent. 2010, the year that he went, I think he was like first team All-Pro with no picks. I said, wait a minute. Now, matter of fact, I'm going to look it up to see what year he went first team All-Pro, and that was just utter ridiculousness. He had a season where he did not have a pick, and he was a Pro Bowler. I was upset. 4-time first team All-Pro. What was the season? 2010. That's what it was. First team All-Pro with no picks. I was shocked, astounded. That was the year I said, wait a minute now. You guys got to pump the brakes on Revis. You went first team All-Pro with no picks? You got to be kidding me. Is Big Ben a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. Big Ben is a Hall of Famer. I'll tell you why Big Ben gets the nod over Eli Manning. Never outside of the 2011 or the 2008 season could you make the argument that Eli Manning was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Look at what Ben Roethlisberger has done this side of the decade since 2010. He has consistently been a top 5 quarterback. More importantly, when you talk about the top tiers, the Bradys, the Rodgers, and the Brees, when you talk about the next quarterback coming up, it was Big Ben and then a couple of other people, your Russell Wilsons now and other names like that a few years back. Ben has always been good. He has always been good. Turn the football over. Yes, there were a couple of games in which he had throw those 5 picks or you had those 3 picks and stuff like that. But you cannot deny how good he's been. There's a difference. Him and Eli may have the same amount of rings, but there's a huge difference between the two. Oh, I got to get my charger. Give me 1 second. I will be right back before my computer fails. I'll be back in 17 seconds. My Lord in heaven, I almost lost my charge. And there's a goddamn turnover I couldn't even call. What a play. Let's see what happened here. You had a fumble. Oh, Falcone. Punch by Green. And the ball went out of the hand of Dalvin Cook and recovered by McDougal. Got his hands on the football. Good Lord. How did I almost lose? I lost my goddamn charge at the wrong period of time. But take a look at that fumble there. He's got butterfingers right on the buttocks of the Minnesota Vikings, and all momentum is on the side of the Seattle Seahawks, but we've got a couple of Vikings down. Stephon Diggs, perhaps this could be a cramp, and there's another individual who is down. Is that Dalvin Cook? Is he crying? His body is convulsing. That is not good. That is not good. Somebody asked me DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams. I would lean more towards Hopkins. Diggs and Dalvin got hurt. This isn't good. Double D's are on the floor, and we ain't talking about titties. Silky Smooth says Deshaun Jackson for the Hall of Fame. He can make an argument, but he's in my opinion, regardless of the fact that he was able to break Jerry Rice's records of deep balls, I do not see Deshaun Jackson getting in right now where he stands. Unfortunately, no. I think he'll be one of those people where every year he comes up on the ballot, but he doesn't get in. He might have to wait like Art Monk, and there was no reason why Art Monk had to wait. All right. Mr. Winter says Charles Woodson elite. Well, obvious. Charles Woodson's a first ballot. Him and Peyton is going in next year. Scott Peterson says second to only Jerry. Oh, Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp should be in the Hall of Fame. Minnesota man, thank you for bringing up Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp should be in the Hall of Fame. Keston Conklin says, do I think Mark Ingram will be in the Hall of Fame when he's done playing? If he keeps up this consistency for 6 more years, without question, because he'll be over 100 touchdowns. He'll have over 10,000 yards. He's a Hall of Famer. For me, Hall of Famer. You get over 100 touchdowns, Hall of Famer. Hence why I believe Shaun Alexander, Hall of Famer. Hell, this is going to be a name that most people ain't heard in years. Priest Holmes? Look at Priest Holmes' numbers. Had this man not got hurt, Hall of Famer. If we're putting Terrell Davis in the Hall of Fame for 4 seasons and, being the greatest postseason running back of all time. But if he gets in, we got to start looking at small sample sizes now. We got to start looking at small sample sizes. Kurt Warner. I love Kurt Warner, but if we look at the numbers, Kurt Warner was only good for 5 or 6 seasons. Let's just be honest. I love Kurt Warner. He may have had the top 3 passing performances in the Super Bowl up until, Tom Brady threw for 500, but still. Just saying. If Kirk Cousins and Terrell Davis can get into the Hall of Fame, we got to start reevaluating other people. There's no reason why Sterling Sharp shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but Terrell Davis and Kurt Warner are in there. Sorry. Look at what happened to Stephon Diggs here. Oh, wow. First off, what a great block from Smith. But damn, Dalvin Cook went down on the ankle. Is it the ankle? I think it may be the ankle. Oh, no. No, it might be the arm because he's clutching that arm. And Stephon Diggs is on the sideline still, but he's moving around, so that's a good sign. For the Barber brothers, Rondé will get in, no question. Tiki, I don't think Tiki's going to get in. He should have kept playing. 2nd and 8 situation, play action fake. Russell Wilson, great a spin. But unfortunately, he got rid of the football before he could have been sacked. Linville Joseph could have got called for a late hit here. But Chris Carson picks up 9, setting up a 3rd and 1 situation for Seattle. Tie game with 7:48 left to play on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Can Seattle go down the field and take the lead? Stephon Diggs is sprinting on the sideline, so it appears that he should be fine. Ben says Kirk Cousins for the MVP. Well, as I said, it depends on how this plays out at this game. I think he can cement himself as a legitimate contender if he can take down Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks, as Rashad Penny picks up the first down. But if the Seahawks, maintain this W, or I should say if they do get this W and maintain the same pace that they've been going at thus far this season, it will continue to be Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson in the contention for who's going to be the MVP. Somebody said Doink the Clown, Cody Parkey for the Hall of Fame. Man, don't do that. Minnesota man says Andre Rison. Rison was a beast in his day, but no, he's not a Hall of Famer. Cam Chancellor, perhaps. Thank you for bringing his name up. Marquise Colston, I am not too sure about that one. Wilson dumps it back to Jacob Hollister. He's going to be down at the 11. Matthew Kennedy says, what about Mike Allstott? To be quite honest with you, I think Allstott should be a Hall of Famer. Because when it comes to fullbacks, he was one of the better fullbacks in the league. And they had him listed as a halfback at first, I believe. I think they had him listed as a halfback at first. I cannot recall if he was listed as a fullback, but I think Allstott should be. Reggie Wayne is a Hall of Famer. It'll take him some time. Peanut Tillman, he can make the argument, but I don't think he's going to get in. That should have been a pass interference on Moore, going against the defense against Moore. I thought I saw a hook of the arm, but I could be wrong. It's going to be 3rd and 7 for the Seattle Seahawks deep in Minnesota territory. Take a look at that route from Moore again. Can we get a replay on David Moore's route? I guess not. Ronnie Lott for one of the greatest safeties of all time, without question. Somebody said Randy Moss, he's already in the Hall of Fame. Phillip Rivers should break Antonio Cromartie's record for his kid. You know what's funny? Phillip Rivers, these past couple of seasons and his failures to get into the postseason or make any noise is really going to hurt him getting to the to get into the Hall of Fame. Russell Wilson rolling towards his right, throws it into the end zone, pass incomplete. They're going to have to settle for another Jason Myers field goal. In my opinion, Phillip Rivers would have easily been a Hall of Famer, regardless of the fact that he did not have any rings. But his performance this year is really going to come back to haunt him. It's going to come back to haunt him. Wilson rolling right. I'm not a big fan of this play call over here. Great pass from Wilson, but wow, Moore just misjudged the ball. You know what? He could have caught that. He actually could have caught that. I'll take that back. That's actually a good pass. Moore completely got his hands up late. That should have been caught. Seamus Waters says Bo Jackson with no, not even close. Bo Jackson's a what-if Hall of Famer. That's what he is. Bo Jackson is a what-if Hall of Famer. Donovan McNabb for the Hall of Fame. You know what, Amir? He can make the argument. Be quite honest with you. I think Donovan McNabb can make the argument for saying he's a Hall of Famer. He can make the argument. 5 NFC Championship appearances. You can make the argument. Okay, Keaston, you're asking if Ray Lewis is Ray Lewis in the Hall of Fame? Yes, he is. He went in 2 years ago. Phillip is Elite the King. I said Phillip Rivers could be a Hall of Famer, but he's messing up his case. Eli, when we talk about quarterbacks, Eli's not better than Phillip Rivers. Somebody said Sidney Rice. Man, go to the... Who said Sidney Rice? Sly Van Dare. Go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and slap yourself. DeWillie Smith says, is Gronk a first ballot? Gronk is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Richard Sherman, I would say Richard Sherman is a Hall of Famer. Haloti Ngata is not a Hall of Famer. He was a beast, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Michael Vick, not a Hall of Famer. Joe Forbes says, tell me why T.O. should not make the Hall of Fame. I felt as if T.O. was cheated. First and foremost, before I talk about T.O., Jason Myers kicks the field goal through the uprights. It's good. Seattle has their first lead of the game in CenturyLink Field. They now have all of the momentum. Questions about what Minnesota is going to do coming out of this next drive. You did see Stephon Diggs running up and down the field, so it seems as if he should be good to go back into the game. Dalvin Cook is in the locker room. It's doubtful that he'll most likely return. It should be questionable. I'd highly doubt they say it's doubtful now. But we're most likely going to see Alexander Madison. I believe his first name is Alexander. He's going to be out there. You still got your dreadlock powers in the backfield. But now it's up to Kirk Cousins to go out there and make plays and make Minnesota's offense go down the field and score, similar to what they did in the first half. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Hot Mic app. Use the promo code Adonis if you do not have the app for your iPhone. If you have an Android phone, do me a favor and pre-register for the app right now. All right, we're interacting with the audience on Hot Mic. We've got the chat open. We've also got the chat open on YouTube as well. And shout out to 319 people in the room on YouTube. But do me one favor, all right? Can we get those likes up from 211 to 250 since we've got a surplus of individuals inside right now? Jarius is going to say Tom Brady. That's not a good name to bring up because Tom Brady is obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. Dominique says Jameis. Somebody else said Jameis. Well, that was stupid. Matthew Kennedy says Gerald McCoy for the Hall of Fame. You know what? If he could continue to be consistent, then yes. Rome the Upsetter says Larry Fitz, the most wasted talent of all time. I wouldn't say he's wasted. I think it's a disservice to the player to say that their career was wasted because they did not win a Super Bowl. I beg to differ. Because it's not all based on what you do on the field, how you're able to build those relationships and galvanize a team around you. Fitz was not wasted. Fitz played a very good role. Just because he did not win that Super Bowl does not mean he was wasted. Because you could say the same thing for Steve Smith. Hell, would you say Dan Marino's career was wasted? I beg to differ. I think these guys go out there and kill, and they do very well. But I think it's wrong to say the term wasted. Derek Brooks, he is already in the Hall of Fame. Julio Jones will be going to the Hall of Fame. Darren Sharper should be in the Hall of Fame had he not raped those women. Had he not raped those women, he'd have been in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what the hell was going through that man's head. And I said this on the Unconventional Deadass the Unconventional Deadass podcast. I said Darren Sharper, if he did not get caught until after he went into the Hall of Fame, he would be a Hall of Famer. Well, obviously, that's stupid. Use your common sense. But you can't pull somebody out of the Hall of Fame. Darren Sharper did himself a disservice, and he'll never get in. And personally, I believe the Hall of Fame should only be down to what you've done on the field. And that's my biggest issue with what happened to Terrell Owens. Because people were talking about character issues and him being a cancer in the locker room. No. What did he do when he was on the field? He was without question a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Here comes a return from Minnesota. First kick return we're going to see tonight. And it's brought to the 23-yard line by Amir Abdallah. But still, I think Darren Sharper should be in the Hall of Fame, but unfortunately he's not going to get in because how the hell are you going to have the man who just raped a ton of women give a speech? But when you tell the story about best safeties in the NFL, you can't tell it without Darren Sharper. It's truly unfortunate. Russell Wilson can be a Hall of Famer, yes. Big Ben will be in the Hall of Fame. Troy Polamalu is going in this year. Julian Edelman, not at all. Julian Edelman's not a Hall of Famer. How many thousand-yard receivers receiving seasons has he had? Maybe one. How many times has he been considered a top 3 receiver in the NFL? Never. Don't tell me about postseason stats. When you get to the postseason every year of your career, and you're the primary target with the football coming your way, obviously you're going to end up catching up to Jerry Rice. You're there every year making a late playoff push. Look how many games it took him to get to where the hell it's at. Come on now, it's not even fair. AB should be a Hall of Famer, but most likely it's going to take some time. Steve Atwater, it should be a Hall of Famer. I think most likely he'll probably get in this year. Steve McNair, he could have had a shot, man. He could have had a shot. I don't know if they're going to put him in, though. It's going to be a long stretch. He might have to wait like Jerry Kramer. Kirk Cousins dumps the ball off to Madison. Got some blockers out in front. Picks up a Vikings first down. He's going to be down at the 38-yard line. Great play call. Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis should be going into the Hall of Fame. Xavier, I agree with you. Julian Edelman, not a Hall of Famer. Amir, Darren Sharper went to Bill Cosby University. More importantly, he went to Woody Allen University. Jordan Murray says Lance Briggs. You're damn right. That is a name that should be considered. Lance Briggs was a beast. In my opinion, he should be a Hall of Famer. Madison would go absolutely nowhere. Tackled for no gain. Suggs is a Hall of Famer. Yes, indeed. Lyndon Bernard. Suggs is a Hall of Famer. Keel Cole says Tony Romo a Hall of Famer. No, Tony Romo will not get in. Connor Wager says Eli Manning. No. Titan Omega says Greg Jennings a Hall of Famer. No. Cody Scott Johnson says Nick Folk. Jordan Murray says Julius Peppers. Absolutely. Jarius Copulor says Bobby Wagner in due time. Nick says Doug Baldwin. Not at all. And there's movement on the front line. They're going to get a false start that's going to push them back to the 33-yard line. Let's take one more look at Twitter World, see what's going on over here. Hoodies A says the NFC East plays the AFC North next year. You and Marv going to have a little friendly wager? You know, I'm not sure. Perhaps. Nick says Sherman for the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Charlie Brown says, do you think Demaryius Thomas is a Hall of Famer? No. Peyton Manning made Demaryius Thomas, although he did have a very good season with Tebow and Kyle Orton. His rookie season, I believe, or his second season. Nick says Doug Baldwin? No. Charlie Brown, do I think Zeke will be a Hall of Famer if he keeps this same pace? Yes. CJ Montalbano says, your commentary this week blew out my eardrums when that Redskins player baptized that Panthers player, but it was really funny. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I try to get to high volumes while I'm doing it. Dylan Dunn says, who is the worst wide receiver currently in the NFL? This is going to sound asinine, but hey, Nelson Aguilar, because the man's hands are just for decoration. But there are worse receivers. I'd have to say Dante Moncrief, although he's a free agent, he is still employed. Or I should say not employed, but is listed as a free agent. So I'd have to say Dante Moncrief. 3rd and 15, Kirk family member takes the snap. Jadeveon Clowney falls to the ground. Alexander Madison does make the catch, but he's going to be stopped short participating in the Frank Costanza challenge down at the 44-yard line when they needed to get to the 48. And the last two in Twitter world, Daquan says Nnamdi Asomugha would have probably been in the Hall of Fame if his stint with the Eagles didn't go to trash. You know what? You're right. Had Nnamdi Asomugha not get to the Eagles and start to play away from what he usually played, he could have possibly made an argument because he was a beast when he was in Oakland. Mark Ackerman says, could you invite the Unchiseled Adonis to do commentary too? Both of you can become Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. You know, the Unchiseled Adonis is right here to my left, but unfortunately, I don't think it would be ideal to have him come and do the commentary along with me. Who knows? Maybe at one point he can stop by. James Smith, do you think Marquise Colston is going to the Hall of Fame? I do not think he will. I do not think he will. But he can be somebody who pops up on the ballot. It'll take a very long time. The fact that Art Monk had to wait 18 years, it still bothers me. So because of that, and more importantly, Lynn Swann and John Stallworth both have to wait over 10 years at the time that they played, and they were one of the most prolific receivers when they played. So because receivers always have to wait, more importantly, Chris Carter had to wait. Chris Carter had to wait. So even Michael Irvin had to wait 2 years. So it's tough for receivers, man. It's very tough for receivers. Tyler Lockett, Hall of Fame? Absolutely not. LaShawn McCoy, he can make the argument when he retires. Greg Olsen, he needs maybe 2 more seasons of prolific numbers from the tight end position. Justin Tucker? Yes. Justin Tucker? Yes. I think Gary Anderson has to make the Hall of Famer for kickers, Adam Vinatieri, and then Justin Tucker. Cam Newton, I believe Cam Newton will be a Hall of Famer. His upcoming stint that's going to happen with Chicago, watch how he bowls. In my opinion, right now, Cam Newton, had he not gotten hurt, I think he could have made the argument Cam Newton could be a Hall of Famer. Because his rushing stats alone, if he continues to average about 7 rushing touchdowns, he can end his career with over 100 rushing touchdowns. And you cannot ignore that. Cam Newton will be a Hall of Famer because of his threat of being a dual quarterback. He'll be a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, Cam Newton will be a Hall of Famer. He's not one right now, but he will be a Hall of Famer, just like Matt Ryan as well. But Matthew Stafford, you got to get to the playoffs a little bit more. Hand off to Chris Carson. He's got enough for a first down. He's going to be tackled. They're most likely going to mark him at the 35-yard line. 2:05 left to play in the third quarter. Seattle leading 20-17. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Hot Mic app. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in on Hot Mic. We currently have 73 viewers in the building, over 190 visitors thus far. Ultra Instinct puts $1.99 on it. I appreciate you. What about Zach Ertz? Zach Ertz has potential, but it's far too early. Minnesota man says Nick Collins. No. He did have that the pick 6 against the Steelers in the Super Bowl. Indeed, he did. Russell Wilson takes the snap, but apparently they either laundry on the field or there was a timeout that was called. DJ Austin says, what about Drew Brees' Jesus? That's not even worth a question. You know this man's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Cordero Patterson as a returner, says Silky Smooth. No. Cliff Branch is still not in the Hall of Fame. You know what, Night Moves? That bothers me that he's not in the Hall of Fame. That's a name that I forgot to mention. It's unfortunate that he's not. He should be in the Hall of Fame. And I think it's utter bollocks that he's not. Even, there's another receiver. Drew Pearson's not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, the old Cowboys receiver. Drew Pearson's not in the Hall of Fame. That's ridiculous. Jim Marshall, the defensive lineman for the Minnesota Vikings in the 70s. He's not in the Hall of Fame. What are the voters doing? Darren Sproles can make an argument. As a special teamer, he can make an argument. Too early for Alvin Kamara. James Harrison certainly can make an argument, but I don't think James Harrison will get in. Pierre Thomas, no. 1st and 10 from the 35. Play action fake. Russell Wilson looking right. Got his man. 5-yard pickup. They're going to mark him at the 6. And Seattle looking to extend their lead. Marquise Pouncey as a Hall of Famer? Yes. Marvin Harrison went into the Hall of Fame last year, I believe. Vince Wilfork will end up on the ballot. I think it'll take some time. Aaron Rodgers, that's not even worth a question. Adam Vinatieri, first ballot? No. Kickers are not getting in on first ballot. Sue can make an argument, but he's never going to go to the Hall of Fame. Dante Hall, unfortunately, he's not. Because with the emergence of what Devin Hester did, Dante Hall won't get in now. They're gonna judge players for who was at the top and then go downward. As was that Rashard Penny? No, it wasn't. It was Chris Carson gains nothing. Ricky Williams, no. Travis Kelce, future. He's just got to stay consistent. Gronk, without question. Matthew Slater, he'll be one of the first. Matthew Slater won't get in unless Steve Tasker gets in. If Steve Tasker gets in, which I believe he should be a Hall of Famer, Matthew Slater will get in and join his father. Christian McCaffrey, way too early. Devin Hester, without question. Joshua Cribbs, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. 3rd and 5 from the 40. Russell, I turned the hole to a housewife. Wilson floats it over the middle. Wide open is David Moore. He's going to go into the end zone for the Seattle Seahawks touchdown. They're going to probably take a 10-point lead. No flags on the field. Took him to Cinnabar Island. Russell Wilson says, don't you ever disrespect me, Xavier Rhodes. We're going to get a touchdown. And look at the choreographed celebration. They dancing. Look at the movement. Clap with them. Clap with them. Bam! Clap with them. Oh, they're dancing. They're dancing. They're dancing. Oh, what choreograph. They got the bow. There it is. Touchdown. Don't you love the fun on the football field? Look at Xavier Rhodes get taken to Cinnabar Island. Look at this man. Put him on a breakfast sandwich. He's toast. He can't cover anybody. He couldn't cover a twin-size bed with a king-size mat sheet. What is he doing? Ultra Instinct puts $4.99 on it. Brian Mitchell, top 2 all-time, all-purpose yards. He should be a Hall of Famer. I agree with you. Brian Mitchell should. And because Brian Mitchell is not, Darren Sproles won't get in. Because Brian Mitchell is not, Dante Hall won't get in. These people will still continue to be called legends, but they won't be enshrined in the Hall of Fame, unfortunately. Eric Weddle, hell no. Adrian Peterson, that's not a good question. Adrian Peterson, obviously a Hall of Fame. Calvin Johnson and Andre Johnson are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Andre Johnson gets overlooked. He's one of the underrated receivers of all time. He was a beast. Mason Crosby, no. Janikowski, no. Ricky Williams was a baller, but no. Arian Foster, no. Joe Thomas, first ballot. Mark Ingram, we'll have to see. If he gives 5 more years of the same production, he's a Hall of Famer. Russell Wilson, without question, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Isaac Bruce, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Gerald McCoy, if he keeps it up. Matt Forte, unfortunately, no. If Roger Craig is not in the Hall of Fame, Matt Forte will not. And more importantly, I'm upset because Marshall Faulk is what Roger Craig was for the mid 2000s from the mid 90s to the mid 2000s. Marshall Faulk was the new age 21st century Roger Craig, but Roger Craig isn't in the Hall of Fame. Ridiculous. Kristen Lopez puts $1.99 on it. Says Andre Johnson, the best underrated receiver, Hall of Famer. It's funny. You're right behind me on YouTube. You must have just heard me as I said. We're in sync. Yes, I agree with you. He's a Hall of Famer. Von Miller, he'll be a Hall of Famer. Julio Jones, he'll be a Hall of Famer. Deion Branch, hell no. Joseph Adai or Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell has potential. Joseph Adai, hell no. Mark Bulger, hell no. 25-yard line, here we go. The Vikings looking to respond. Takes the snap after giving up 17 unanswered. Cousins going deep, overthrows Kyle Rudolph, the red zone reindeer. The pass did not complete because they were nowhere near the red zone. And we're headed to the 4th quarter where the Seattle Seahawks are up 27-17. Xavier Rhodes is frustrated, slamming his helmet all over the floor. But, brother, you got to put that helmet back on. Lyndon Powder says, what about Kirk? No, Kirk will probably end up being remembered as a Boomer Esiason if he's not able to get to a Super Bowl, let alone put up, because Kirk Cousins, he puts up some numbers, but it's not even as if you feel it. Matt Ryan puts up numbers and you feel it. Anquan Bolden, he'll be considered. Mike Evans, we'll have to see. Michael Thomas, we'll have to see. Khalil Mack, I say give him a little bit more time. Yeah, I think from the outside, but yeah, give Khalil Mack a little bit more time. But he's well on his way. Clay Matthews, they messed him up when they moved him to middle linebacker. Clay Matthews would have, without question, had over 100 sacks. Probably would have been at like the 108 range had Green Bay not moved him to middle linebacker. Once they took him away from what he was doing best, and he played very well from the middle linebacker position, but I think they did him a disservice. A.J. Green, he's well on his way. DeAndre Hopkins, he's well on his way. Carson Palmer, he has an argument, but he's not going to get in. Carson Palmer is going to be just like Boomer Esiason. Fletcher Cox, he's well on his way. Saquon Barkley, way too early. Way too early. Ahmad Green, thank you for bringing up Ahmad Green, Minnesota man, but unfortunately he's not going to get in. J.J. Watt, yes. J.J. Watt is already a Hall of Famer. He's not a first ballot, but J.J. Watt's already a Hall of Famer. Just like Von Miller, already Hall of Famers. Marshall Yonder, yes. Terrell Suggs, yes. Somebody said Chiseled Adonis for the Hall of Fame. Not yet. There's no Hall of Fame that I can be in. Comedy Hall of Fame, I got a long way to go. YouTube Hall of Fame, I'm not even considered. Larry Fitzgerald, that's not even a question. KJ Wright, no. Trent Cole, no. Donovan McNabb, he has an argument. Stephon Gilmore, as of right now, no. He is playing sensational, but right now, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. Give him some more time. If he keeps this up for 2 more years, 3 more years, he's got it. Amari Cooper, hell no. Carson Wentz, way too early. I said J.J. Watt, yes. Pat Willis. Patrick Willis is a Hall of Famer. He's not first ballot. It's going to take him some time. Cam Hayward, he's well on his way. Michael Thomas, too early, but he's well on his way. Bobby Wagner, he's on his way. Matter of fact, I should say Bobby Wagner is. If Luke Kuechly is, Bobby Wagner is. Mario Williams, you know what? He's not going to get in. Mario Williams is going to end up like Simeon Rice. You're going to look at their numbers like, how the hell aren't they in the Hall of Fame? And you're going to wonder why they're not on the ballot. It's ridiculous. Patrick Peterson is a Hall of Famer. Second and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings from the 25. Kirk Cousins throws the ball. It's intercepted. Oh, my Lord. What happened to his hands? It's ricocheted and picked off. Oh, my Lord in heaven. Trey Flowers got awareness through the wazoo. The activation of the dreadlock powers. Oh, my God. Seattle has an opportunity to extend their lead once again. What an interception we just saw. Are you kidding me? Show me that replay. Look at what happens with Stephon Diggs. The failure to catch the football. Look at Johnny on the spot is Trey Flowers. Oh, my Lord. Kirk Cousins looked to go outside. He said, it's still Thanksgiving. I'd like to connect with my family. Let me give the ball to my cousins. But Stephon was too busy playing, trying to go to Diglett's cave, using Doug Trio, used TM28 Diggs. It was ineffective because he was playing against a flying Pokemon that happened to be Trey Flowers, and he intercepted that pass. But was he down by contact? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was playing a little bit of footsies with Stephon Diggs. What an INT. Brian Urlacher's already in the Hall of Fame. Jared Allen, he will be going to the Hall of Fame. Thank you for bringing up his name. Somebody said Mario Chalmers. What was wrong with you? Malcolm Jenkins, he has an argument. Matter of fact, no. Malcolm Jenkins, I think he needs more seasons. He needs a couple more seasons. Taysom Hill, no, it's way too early. Taysom Hill, and on top of that, Taysom Hill's not a Hall of Famer. Maurice Jones-Drew, no, he's not. Unfortunately, he's not. Casey Hampton, you can make an argument, but I don't think he's going to get in. Wes Welker, you can make an argument, but I don't think he's going to get in. Javon Curse, yes. Mario Williams is a lot like Javon Curse. Handoff to Rashad Penny. Great block from Dwayne Brown. Good Lord, pickup of 10. Seattle is on the move. They're going to have another 1st and 10 from the 15. Take a look at this block from Dwayne Brown. Look at the right-hand side of your screen. Look what he does to this corner. Takes him all the way to the sideline. Stop trying to make plays, you little boy. Little boy. Give some respect to those boys up front, man. Frank Gore is indeed a Hall of Famer. Cam Jordan is well on his way. Tracy Porter, hell no. Stop saying Mario Chalmers Hall of Famer. All right, William, stop saying that. Seahawks offensive line playing well, all right? Pickup of 2 for Rashad Penny. Roger Staubach is in the Hall of Fame. Jason Peters, he will be a Hall of Famer. Jason Kelsey, give him some time. McCourty twins, no. Devin actually has a better chance than Jason, but it's going to take a lot of time. Marshawn Lynch, perhaps in the future. Kyle Williams, put his knee in the Giants Hall of Fame because this man fumbled when the 49ers needed him most. Jameis went. Jamal Charles, unfortunately, no. Big Ben, yes. Joe Thomas, yes. Reggie Bush, he's only going to go to the Saints Hall of Fame, and he did that last week. Patrick Mahomes, way too early. Joe Flacco, hell no. As Rashad Dollar, Rashad Nickel, Rashad Dime, Rashad Penny goes into the end zone. All Seattle. 23 unanswered points. Unanswered points. They called up Allen Iverson in Minnesota, but they could not find him. The call went unanswered as they would go up 33-17. It's all party time in Seattle. They taking care of business, man. Rashad Penny with the dump off from Russell Wilson. Dodges a couple of tacklers, goes into the end zone for the score. Seattle is firing on all cylinders, and that may have just been the dagger. That could have possibly been the dagger. And we've got 70 people in the room on Hot Mic. We've gone over 200 on the visitors thus far on the stream. So I appreciate everybody who's tuned in on YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in and rocking with me and choosing to watch the game in Hold My Nugget Studios. Well, we've got 347 people watching. How many likes do we have right now? We got 350 watching, only 253 likes. Let's see if we can get the like total up to 300. Lawrence says Michael Vick for the Hall of Fame. No, I do not see that happen. Thus far, what I'm seeing in this particular game is Minnesota has lost what their identity was in the first half. And more importantly, now not having Dalvin Cook is really going to hurt. At this point, trailing by double their score. They need Kirk Cousins to air this football out. Can Stephon Diggs get separation? We'll have to see, but I would like to see them utilize more four wideout formations, use some crossing routes, force those Seattle safeties to have to make decisions. You know what? Cipher 1, I do believe that dagger was the Cook injury. It dropped the morale. Indeed, the whole mood changed when they got hurt. James Smith says, do you see Pierre Thomas going to the Hall? No. Charlie Brown says, would you say AP is a first ballot Hall of Famer? Absolutely. AP is. There's no question. I know there's a long shot, but JPP is not going to the Hall of Fame. For a Hall of Famer for failed fireworks, I'll tell you that much. Hall of Famer in America's funniest home videos. Big Pete says, there needs to be a dreadlock power for Cook's fumble. I'll be touching on that. Gap Tooth Assassin, the dance moves are from New Edition. If it isn't love, put it in the commentary. You don't got to tell me twice. I will put it there. I'm taking a screenshot as we speak. Cash Money J, Earl Thomas, Hall of Fame, or Richard Sherman? Sherman will be going in. Earl Thomas, in my opinion, will be going in. However, for a safety, it's a little bit harder. If it took Kenny Easley this long to get in, it's going to take some time. All right, but Earl Thomas, in my opinion, he has the ability to be a Hall of Famer. Another stretch, D'Angelo Hall. You know what? If you look at the numbers, D'Angelo Hall was a beast. However, he's not going to the Hall of Fame. Cam Newton is a Hall of Famer to me. Absolutely. I say he's a Hall of Famer, Hoodies A. Shout out to Brian Linker, puts 100 on it and says Seattle. I appreciate you so much, Brian. Where we've seen Seattle score 17 points in the third, 7 in the fourth, and an unprecedented 24 points unanswered. It's not really unprecedented, but good Lord, man. What is going on with the Vikings? 13:30 left to play in the fourth quarter. The Vikings trail the Seattle Seahawks 34-17, where we've seen Seattle score 24 unanswered points. Russell Wilson has been absolutely balling. Absolutely balling. Taking advantage of the lack of purple people eaters for the Vikings. Santonio Holmes is not a Hall of Famer. Andrew Whitworth can make an argument. Steve Smith, in my opinion, he is a Hall of Famer. Jason Witten will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Eddie George, be quite honest with you, should be in the Hall of Fame. Aaron Sherwood puts $4.99 on it. Seattle, the Seahawks is getting the condoms out there. Maybe some necrophilia out there in Seattle. You're absolutely right. I think Jeffrey Dahmer may be making his way to the field because Stephon Diggs dropped another pass. Man's hands are just for decoration. Couldn't catch a cold in Antarctica. Couldn't catch a Jew in a synagogue. Couldn't catch a Christian at a church on New Year's. Couldn't catch a underage boy in a Catholic church. The Vikings offense, the first drive, 83 yards, 7 points. 7 drives since, 3 points, and only 128 yards. Take a look at Jadeveon Clowney at the bottom of your screen. Dump off to Madison. He's got a couple of blockers. Make a cut, young man. Make a cut. He carries it to the 42-yard line. Big time pickup, great vision from Madison. There's a sense of urgency that you're seeing from the Vikings. This is what I would have loved to see yesterday from New England. Knowing that you're trailing by multiple scores, utilize a little bit of a sense of urgency. You got to have some plays set up, and more importantly, utilize the no huddle. There we go, Twins towards, oh no, it's even with the left and right. Kirk Cousins, a pass down the field, wide open. Is Stephon Diggs? Is that? No, it's not Stephon Diggs. That may be Laquan Treadwell. Goes into the end zone. Touchdown Vikings. They answer right back and say, hey man, we're not going to go down without a fight. 58-yard TD. That must have been a busted coverage or something, because this man was not covered whatsoever. Look at the safeties. Was this a crossing route? What happened? The post inside, the safety completely left him. Wow, wide open all by himself. Are you kidding me? Call him a pair of legs at a lesbian orgy. He was wide open. Great pass from Kirk Cousins. Easy touch, pass, and catch. Laquan Treadwell into the end zone. 3 plays, 75 yards, 41 seconds. That is exactly what the doctor ordered, exactly what the Vikings needed, and they cut their deficit to 10. Xavier, you are darn right. I thought they gave up on Laquan Treadwell. One of my friends, shout out to Low Key Rowe, he is a huge fan of Laquan Treadwell. He thought, hey, come to the Chargers, because he's a Chargers fan. Unfortunately, Laquan Treadwell has not been getting his due, but damn it, he did on that play. Bads puts 2 on it, says Doug Baldwin as a late Hall of Famer. No, Doug Baldwin will not be a Hall of Famer. Night Move says Cam is no Hall of Famer. Cam could possibly be a Hall of Famer. Because of his rushing stats, you cannot deny he is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, dual threat quarterback of all time. All he needs, in my opinion, all Cam Newton needs is 4 more seasons. 4 more seasons where he averages about 7 rushing touchdowns, 3,800 yards, and give him about 20 touchdowns. If he can get 80 more TDs through the air and about, let's say, 20 touchdowns on the ground, he's a Hall of Famer in my book. All he got to do is just make sure he keeps getting to the playoffs. But if he continues to wallow in mediocrity, then he's not a Hall of Famer. Still a ball game. You're absolutely right, Ben. It is still a ball game. Somebody said Jaquiz Rogers. All right, we're going to leave the Hall of Fame conversation alone. I'm seeing Chris Conley. I'm seeing Jaquiz Rogers. Wilbur Marshall should be in the Hall of Fame. I do agree that. Matter of fact, no, I can't say Wilbur Marshall should be in the Hall of Fame. I think there's another name of somebody who's a linebacker who should have been. Wilbur Marshall as the Hall of Famer for the Bears. Let me see. Wilbur Marshall. Oh, it's tough. Linebackers is tough from the 80s, man. Somebody said Nate Peterman. Yeah, okay. All right, that's it. Don Coryell, he should be in the Hall of Fame as well. Bill Cowher, he'll go into the Hall of Fame soon. Antonio Freeman, that's a good name. Jake Delhomme, hell no. Joe Burke, okay. Deuce McAllister, no. Brian Arakpo, no. Robert Mathis, I said earlier, yes. Ty Law, he went in this year. Did you not watch the Hall of Fame? Calais Campbell, give him some more years. He's older now, so. Someone said Booger McFarland. Okay, all right. That's it for the Hall of Fame talk. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Hot Mic app. If you haven't downloaded the app already, what are you doing? I'm putting the link here in the YouTube channel. Feel free to click on those links. Pre-register for the Android. Download it for the iOS. Use the promo code Adonis. The app is absolutely free. Let's take one more look at Twitter world. See what the people are saying. Kajafa Carter says, figured I'd drop in and show my boy Chiseled Adonis some love. Keep being great at what you do. Hot Mike, go Hawks. Shout out to you, brother. And more importantly, hopefully the Hawks can hold this victory so you can go to sleep with a victory for your team. Dylan Dunn, Jimmy Graham for Hall of Fame. Hell no. Matt Ackerman says, got connected for free with the green highlighter connection. Get connected for free. Wilson a penny for the Seahawks TD. I didn't sing it. I read it. But still, very good reference. Charlie Brown, Eddie Jackson for the Hall of Fame. Far too early. Stephen Oates, do you think Percy Harvin has what it takes? Hell no. Jamal, Antonio Brown for the Hall of Fame? Yes. Charlie Brown, Ryan Kerrigan. If he keeps up the same pace, he can make an argument. But I think Ryan Kerrigan will fall into the same hole as Simeon Rice. Cash Money J, Myles Garrett, way too early. TJ Blaze, is Antonio Gates in yet? He was just playing last year. He's going to the Hall of Fame, though. Can't wait for Kobe's speech next year. Stay tuned. Pass to DK Metcalf, pardon me. He picks up 5 yards, is going to set up 2nd and 5. Corey Dillon, you know what? You can make an argument for Corey Dillon. But damn it, we're leaving the Lamar Woodley. No, all right, let's leave this Hall of Fame conversation alone because this can go on all night. Let's talk about what's happening in the game because it's going down to the 4th quarter and it's time to lock in. Thus far, you look at Russell Wilson's second half stats. He's 8 for 11, 111 yards and 2 TDs in contrast to 10 for 15 for 98 yards and an INT in the first. So he's been balling, needless to say, coming out of halftime. Let's see what transpires here. Hand off to Rashad Penny. Pickup of only 1 yard. Piece of me feels as if Russell Wilson should have held that football. 12 minutes left to play. Seattle leading 34-24. And I appreciate everybody tuning in on Hot Mic. We've got 67 in the room. Thank you everybody who tuned in on Hot Mic and it still is tuning in. If you haven't followed yet, consider giving me a follow so you can always keep up to date in Hold My Nugget Studios, where we've seen Seattle score on their last 5 possessions. Flash Gordon is approaching. He's on the field on 3rd and 2 from the 32-yard line. 1 second left to play on the play clock. Russell Wilson has to use another timeout. This is not good for Seattle. They're only down to 1 timeout left with 11:23 left to play. Not quite understand what the confusion was. Evidently, it was between Tyler Lockett and Jacob Hollister. They did not know what they were supposed to run on the left side of the scrimmage line, or I should say left side of the offense. I don't know why I said that. But down by 10 is Minnesota, finally snapping a 24-point unanswered streak. All right, and in YouTube, I think in YouTube land, how many do we have watching? We have approximately 311, and we're up to 305 likes. I appreciate you guys. We're keeping it at a good average. But if you haven't clicked the like already, click that like button. Russell, I turn the hole into a housewife. Wilson takes the snap. On his left is Flash Gordon. He will not be taken down. He throws the ball to Chris Carson, but he fails to come back to the ball. This will be the Seahawks' first punt in 5 possessions. Take a look at Anthony Barr here. Delayed. Oh, my Lord. This could have been a big-time pickup. And it did not happen. If only Russell Wilson put a little bit more air under that football. It was a failure to get a completion. And here comes the punt. Michael Dixon, 2 punts thus far. 2 punts inside the 20-yard line. Can he make it happen again? Oh, it's a fake! It's a fake! My Lord in heaven, he's got a block, lowers the shoulder. Big-time pickup for Seattle. Oh, my Lord. Just when you thought the momentum was going to swing back to Minnesota, they call a fake. You thought the ball was going to Dixon, but it turns out the Vikings got the dick, son, and it was a fake. My Lord in heaven, what a call by Pete Carroll. Direct snap to the upback. He picks it up, gets a couple of blocks, and picks up a big-time gain for Seattle. Homer making sure that the defense says, "Doe," and goes in for a Seahawks first down. What a play call. Good Lord. Pete Carroll he coaches football like he's having a whole lot of fun, doesn't he? My Lord in heaven. Take him to Staples. That was easy. What a call. What a call. Somebody might have to check Pete Carroll for testicular cancer because he's got some big balls. All right, from the 39-yard line. Here comes the Seahawks. Play action fake. Russell Wilson should be going towards the end zone, and he is. Pass incomplete for Tyler Lockett. No flags on the field. I saw that route coming from a mile away. I'm just disappointed Tyler Lockett could not get the separation. That had touchdown written all over it. But what a play. My Lord in heaven. What a play by Seattle. Now, can they capitalize, making sure that they hold on to the football? They've only got to go about 10 more yards to get into Jason Myers' field goal position. From the 39-yard line, 10:19 left to play. 2nd and 10 for the discount highlighters. Russell Wilson takes the snap, hand off to Chris Carson, pickup of 4 yards, setting up 3rd and 6 from the 35. Take a look at the trick play from yesterday where Miami took on Philly. You saw a punter to kicker connection. This was a absolutely bizarre play, and I was perplexed as to how the hell the Eagles could not stop it. I was ridiculously shocked. Did not see that coming. But my Lord in heaven, what a call for Homer. Made sure the defense said, "Don't." Geno Smith on the sideline. You know he's not going to get in the game. Scorpion King, you are absolutely correct. Pete Carroll can coach at any level, whether it's high school, college, or the NFL. You are absolutely right. Pete Carroll is an absolute beast. Beast. James Smith says, obviously, Breeze is going to get into the Hall. Do I think he's a first ballot? He's the all-time NFL leading passer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's not even a question. Charlie Brown, who do you think is the best running back from the Steelers of all time? Jerome Bettis. No hesitation, Jerome Bettis. Sorry, Franco Harris. Jerome Bettis is simply better. Hoodie Zay, please tell me you're going live next Monday for Giants Eagles. Yes, I am. Moving forward to close out the season, I will be going live every Thursday and every Monday. And yesterday was interesting, going live for Sunday Night Football. I am going live for every playoff game, but I can't make a promise that I'll be live for every Sunday Night Football game. But since they did flex the Bills and Steelers to that Sunday night game, I think I might be going live. But don't hold me to it. No guarantee just yet. We'll see when the time comes. From the 35-yard line, 3rd and 6. Russell Wilson takes the snap. Looking left, Flash Gordon approaching. But the ball did not go to Flash Gordon. It went to DK Metcalf, and he continues to have butter fingers. Fumbles on the play, recovered by Minnesota. They're going to get the football back. I believe this should be the 4th or the 5th fumble on the year for DK Metcalf. Glenn, shout out to you. Glenn Woods puts 20 on it. Says, shout out from the Who Dat Nation. Take a look at the football move. Look at the fumble from DK Metcalf. On the ground, clear recovery from Minnesota. Look at him make the football move. You know what? That's a catch. I'm sorry. That's a catch, and that's a fumble. My Lord in heaven, what is going on with the Butterfingers for DK Metcalf? But I'm sure they're reviewing to see if this was indeed a catch. There's a catch. There's a step. There's another step. You know what? That's a football move. That's a fumble. Sorry. There's a fumble. You can't overturn that. Because remember what they said to what Al Riveron said to return. It has to be clear and obvious with clear and obvious something evidence. Oh, clear and obvious visual evidence significantly hinders. I feel like I use evidence is not the word. Clear and obvious visual evidence significantly hinders. I think that's what it was. But DK is out here looking like a fumbler. They say it's a 4th and 6. Challenge that, Mike Zimmer. Challenge that. You kidding me? That's a fumble. Man's got butterfingers for hands. You got to be kidding me. Out here dropping more balls than children going through puberty in the 7th grade in an all-boys school. You got to be kidding me. Always putting balls on the ground. Ben says, Adonis, who do you think is the most underrated running back of all time? Roger Craig and Roger Craig and Roger Craig. There's a 10,000-yard rusher that's underrated. Roger Craig, Steven Jackson, and probably Edgerrin James. No. You know what? If we're talking about underrated running backs of all time, Roger Craig, Frank Gore, Steven Jackson, And who was the last person that I said? And Andrew James. Yeah, I'd say those guys. Um, DK Metcalf is a fumble machine. Absolutely. Ha! Night Move says Metcalf's hands smell like lube and buttholes. You're damn right. Montrell Gray says DK Metcalf would drop a glass if it was glued to his hands. And he's on the sideline asking himself, what happened to my hands? Terrible outing for DK Metcalf. Warwick Dunn was very underrated as well. DK ain't no Danny Dimes. That's the king of Butterfingers. Danny Dimes is just studying, what he learned from the teachings of Eli Manning. Oh, boy. What a game, man. What a game. The Vikings, after giving away, or I should say failing to get the football back on a fake punt, have an opportunity to get momentum back in their direction. And I see perhaps the call was overturned. We're back on the field and the Vikings offense is out there. They overturned it. Great job by the referees. They made the right call. And here come the Vikings. Suddenly, the pendulum has swung in the direction of Minnesota. Kirk family member Cousins looking towards his left. The pass incomplete once again. Smith is asking himself, what happened to my hands? DK Metcalf with the football move does indeed lose the football. That's a fumble, clear fumble. Kenneth Lambert says, will you be doing college football playoff commentary? Absolutely, I will. I will be doing commentary on the college football playoffs. I am covering the New Year's Six and the National Championship. However, I think I'm going to expand it this year. I'm going to do some more bowl games. I'll have you guys, give me the list of the bowl games to do, because since there's going to be no football during the week, I'll probably release a commentary every single day. As Kyle Rudolph, the red zone reindeer, makes an absolutely stupendous catch to stay in bounds. Take a look at his feet. This man could never be hung. Saddam Hussein should have went to Kyle Rudolph's class, because he'd find a way to get his feet down. Look at the catch. Look at the catch. 1, 2. That's a catch. That is a catch, baby. Kirk Cousins with the fast snap. Here comes the pass rush. Going deep. Does he have Stephon Diggs? No, it's too far inside. Could not connect with him. Oh, man, that could have been a hell of a play. But what a catch by Kyle Rudolph, man. What a catch. Manuel says, where is the unchiseled Adonis? He is to my left or to your guy's right. I think he's watching Grey's Anatomy. I'm not too sure what he's looking at. But he's here as well. That was a beautiful catch, Jacob. That was an absolute beautiful catch. Creeper Killer says, will I do XFL commentary? I did commentary for the AAF, so I think I can do it for the XFL. Granted, it's during the offseason. Give you some more content. Pass overthrown to Madison, setting up a 3rd and 10 situation from the 45. If I'm Minnesota, I want to manipulate those safeties. So perhaps you line up Stephon Diggs and Laquan Treadwell on the same side. Have them run a corner and a post simultaneously. On the weak side, have your other receiver clear it all the way out, and have I would make post dig on the weak side. A post and a corner on the play side, a post dig on the weak side, and I'd like to see a seam from Rudolph where he stops at 10. So really it's just a 12-yard curl. Let's see what they do. The middle of the field is open. Get rid of the football. Oh, there's going to be a flag for pass interference. It hits the back of the head of the defender, and Stephon Diggs is able to get the flag. Trey Flowers was trying to catch the football with his helmet. For college basketball, I only do March Madness. Yang Vang puts 2 on. It says LSU or Georgia on Saturday in Atlanta. I'm going to have to say LSU because, hell, they are undefeated from my estimation, I do believe. 615 Random Goat says you should commentate on the FCS playoffs. Isn't that like the lower division of college football? I do not think I'll be doing that. Manuel says, has the Unchiseled Adonis lost weight? I just posted chiseling of the Unchiseled Adonis episode 4 right before I went live, so feel free to go to check that out. Hand off to Alexander Madison. He picks up 15 big-time yards. He's going to be down at the 10. However, much like I spoke about a little bit earlier, this is my pet peeve. It's first and goal, but from the 10-yard line. Can Minnesota punch it in? Cousins with the toss out to Madison. A couple of blockers. He should be able to pick up 6. He gets 7. No, they're going to mark him at the 2. They give him 8. Second and goal from the 2-yard line. Urgency, urgency, urgency. Keep it, no huddle. Good job, Kirk Cousins. Good job. They're getting to the line. They're probably going to run the dive here right up the right side B gap. There it is. Oh, immediately stopped by Jadeveon Clowney. Are you kidding me? Oh, the ball is loose. Wait a minute now. Hold on. Did they blow it dead too early? What a play by Jadeveon Clowney. But wait a minute now. Look at this play. He gets off the block immediately. Meets Madison with no hesitation. You know what? I don't think he's down. This should have been a fumble. You know what? I don't think he's down. Oh, no, that knee is down. That knee is down. My apologies. He is down. 7 plays, 69-yard, 2-minute drive. Can we get into the end zone, says Minnesota. From the 3-yard line, Kirk family member Cousins takes the snap with twins to his right. He's got 2 tight ends to his left. Remember, there's Kyle Rudolph, the red zone reindeer, running towards the back of the end zone. What a catch! The man's got hands. Touchdown, Minnesota. Get connected for free with the White People Connection. Get connected for free. Kirk family member Kyle Rudolph TD in the end zone, cutting their deficit to 4. Look at the mittens. Look at the mittens. What a catch. The ball was out in the air before he came out of his break. You talk about a reception. You talk about a big-time target. You talk about big-time players making big-time plays in big-time games. This is what you want to see. Kirk Cousins showing why you shouldn't have counted him out. 24 points unanswered. Who the hell cares? Oh my Lord, what is Dan Bailey doing? He hooked the extra point. This can come back to hurt the Vikings. What was he doing? I was in the middle of my rant, and you decided to go and miss the extra point. Dan Bailey, what is the matter with you? I would rather take an AIDS vaccine than have you as my kicker. Get off the field, you damn bum. People in Dallas are saying, that's why we got rid of him. Dan Bailey's garbage. We happy we have Brett Maher. He's a much better kicker. Dan Bailey is never dependable. You can't trust him at all. He called me one time. He said he had the 102nd Dalmatian, but when I pulled up, it was a black dog. That is not the right thing. You can't trust Dan Bailey. He's garbage. That's why we got 5 rings, and we're gonna get 6 rings. That's what they're saying in Dallas. What the hell was going on with Dan Bailey? Could not get the job done. Well, what a catch by Kyle Rudolph. We cannot overlook. He is El Capitan for a reason. Hooking it wide to the left. What a terrible kick by Dan Bailey. And shout out to the 67 viewers we got live on Hot Mic. It's just gone up to 69. So if you're a little bit asexual, you know what position you can do tonight. But nonetheless, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have not followed Hold My Nugget Studios, consider giving me a follow and keep up with everything, Chiseled Adonis. And if you're watching on YouTube and you have not had an opportunity to download on Hot Mic, do me a favor. Pre-register on the Play Store and download on the App Store. Use the promo code Adonis. The app is absolutely free. And watch me live and in sync on your television. If you're watching on YouTube, you're a little bit delayed by about 1 minute, as we have 7:14 left to play. The Seattle Seahawks up 34-30. Seattle now looking at a situation in which they've squandered 13 points in 4 minutes. Can they get a positive play here? Pass over to Jacob Hollister. He's going to be tackled 1 yard short. 2 yards short, setting up 2nd and 2. This is an absolute excellent game. You are right, Paul Lawrence. Thank you for saying that. Excellent game thus far. Charles Jackson says Aracuno use twister. MC14 412 says Swello use wing attack. Mass Spec 9 says Fred Jackson was underrated. You are correct. 2nd and 2 from the 33-yard line. Hand off to, I believe that's Rashad Penny. First down for the Seattle Seahawks. He's most likely going to be marked down at the 39-yard line. Moving the chains, Seattle might want to go on a lengthy drive here. But unfortunately for Seattle, they need to make sure they get points here because they still only have one timeout. They cannot afford to give the football back to the Minnesota Vikings because they have all of the momentum. And judging at the fact that we're able to score back-to-back touchdowns, this can build concern. However, with the miss from Dan Bailey, you're going to wonder if they do get a stop here and they force Seattle to punt, they desperately need a touchdown. Because a field goal only cuts the deficit to 1. Russell Wilson hands the football off to, I believe that is Rashad Penny once again. Pickup of about 4 yards, setting up 2nd and 6 from the 42-yard line. Oh, I think they're going to spot him at the 43. I think they're going to spot him at the 43. It looks like that's where they're going to put the football down. But here we go. Evidently, Tyler Lockett does have cooties today because he cannot get the ball towards his hands. Some people are saying there's a skarmory. Shout out to everybody who does follow the Chiseled Adonis videos. You guys get the jokes. I see a bunch of people throwing Pokemon out here. I appreciate you guys. Shout out for the references. 5:12 left to play from the 43-yard line. 2nd and 6. Hollister going in motion. This is going to be a play action fake. Russell Wilson, he's got 4 verticals. Can he get the ball deep? No, he can't. No time in the pocket. Things are breaking down. He's going to the ground. He gets sacked. Put him in a sack. A 3-man leg race. He's taken to the ground. Washington, pardon me, Minnesota, all of the momentum on their side. Russell Wilson tried to pull a miracle out of his gluteal cleft. Could not get it done. He would spin to his left, only to find a defender there, try to thread back towards his right. He tried to spin back towards his left again, but turns out there was a little bit of bananas on the field. Look at the footwork. What happened here? It was a simple trip. He simply tripped on the floor. He simply tripped on the floor. Could not get it done. 3rd and 19 from the 30-yard line for Seattle. But there's going to be a flag on the play. I'd highly doubt Seattle would use their final timeout here. Oh, my Lord. They've cut the camera to Pete Carroll. They used their final timeout. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is not good. 4:15 left to play. 3rd and 19 from the 30-yard line. The Seattle have used their final timeout. All the momentum on the side of Minnesota, and more importantly, Minnesota still does have all 3 timeouts as well. Can Kirk Cousins put the league on notice and say, hey, you better take me seriously as a legitimate MVP contender? I cannot believe Seattle would call timeout here. They would have to have a play ready coming out of this break. You cannot afford to not have any timeouts at this point in the game with all the momentum on the side of Minnesota. What a fourth quarter. Hell, what a second half. What a second half. 24 unanswered points by Seattle, only to see Minnesota answer right back with 13 unanswered. 3rd and 19. Motion man is Tyler Lockett. Empty formation for Russell Wilson. He dumps the ball off to DK Metcalf. They try to get a screen. He's got a couple of blockers. Can he beat Harrison Smith? He only runs him over, but goes down immediately. He'd be 3 yards short, and they're going to be forced to punt. Seattle faking their punt last time. As we know, Minnesota will be on edge for this particular time. 3:55 left to play. 4th and 4. Seattle will punt, given that they are inside their own 40. Punting the football back to this hot Minnesota team, as I said a little bit earlier, have scored 13 unanswered points. And here we go. Dixon to punt the ball back to Mike Hughes. And his 2 punts have been inside the 20. This is a booming punt. Good Lord. Goes out of bounds at about, I believe that should be the 14-yard line they're going to mark him at. They're going to mark him at the 16. They're going to mark the punt at the 16. Third punt inside the 20-yard line from the 16. Can Kirk, family member, lead his team to victory? He's got 13 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime. Remember, Dan Bailey missed the extra point the last time the Vikings were able to find the end zone, thus keeping it at a 4-point deficit. They cannot afford to get a field goal here with 3:27 left to play. It is on the shoulder pads of Kirk Cousins to not only cement himself as an MVP candidate, but usurp Russell Wilson for the number 2 slot in that category. Let's go. 1st and 10. Kirk family member Cousins takes the snap, looking over the middle. He's got Kyle Rudolph moving the chains to the 34-yard line. No huddle offense. They're keeping the chains moving. They're keeping the drive alive. They're more importantly moving without giving that defense a chance to reset. In fact, they are resetting right now. But you saw the no huddle succeed thus far in the 4th quarter. Here we go. Shotgun formation. Going back towards his left. The pass incomplete. It appears that there was a miscommunication. Kyle Rudolph must have ran a 5-yard out when he was supposed to run about a 7-yard corner. Whatever the case was, Kirk Cousins looked as if he was trying to get the ball to Kyle Rudolph and failed to do so. I believe that's Scott McDermott calling the plays for, I said McDermott, Scott Schottenheimer calling the plays for the Minnesota Vikings. If I butchered the brother's name, I apologize for that. On the field, Madison, Smith, Rudolph, Treadwell, and Diggs. Treadwell was wide open for a 58-yard touchdown earlier in the day. The last touchdown that we saw from them was a one-hand catch from Kyle Rudolph. Let's see what can happen here for the Minnesota Vikings. Trips to the right. Kirk Cousins got some time, dumps the ball off to Madison, but he's tackled immediately as he's going to be down at the 41-yard line, setting up 3rd and 4. In this very close game, but we've got a Seattle Seahawk down with 2:44 left to play. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the Hot Mic app. If you have not tuned in already on Hot Mic, do me a favor to close out the final chapter of the game. Download the Hot Mic app on the App Store. Use the promo code Adonis. Everything is capital letters, and you can watch me for free over there in sync with your television. Given that everything is going down to the wire here, you're going to want to catch things in real time. So watch me on the Hot Mic app, sync it to your television, and get this commentary as it's happening, in contrast to watching it on YouTube and you're getting everything about a minute or about 45 seconds delayed. And everybody who's tuned in on Hot Mic, shout out to every single person who's still rocking with me. If you're a new listener, consider subscribing. All right, 3rd and 3 for the Minnesota Vikings. This is obviously 4-down territory. 3 timeouts for Minnesota from the 42-yard line. Kirk Cousins has time over the middle, overthrows Laquan Treadwell. I said Treadwell. Overthrows Laquan Treadwell, and we're sitting at 2:31 left to play, 4th and 3. However, game is not over if the pass sails incomplete here, because they still do have 3 timeouts. So perhaps that Vikings defense can come back and aid. Oh, wait a minute now. 4th and 3 from their own 42-yard line. You don't punt. That is fair. I understand. They're 8 for 11 on 4th down conversions. Kirk Cousins takes the snap. Looking towards his left, pass incomplete. There's no laundry on the field. Intended for Smith Jr., incomplete. Seattle's going to take over at Minnesota's 42-yard line. They have a chance to put this game away. But remember, Seattle can settle for a field goal. That will only give them 3 points and give them a 7-point lead. If they score a touchdown here, this can possibly put the game away. Manuel says, would I play for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Absolutely. I'd play for any team in the NFL. I used to always have this dream of me getting drafted by the New York Giants and telling everybody that. Here's the funny thing. If I was in the NFL right now, I could play for the Baltimore Ravens. I would say I'm still a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Because when you're a Steelers fan, you're a Steelers fan through and through. Aaron Donald, although he plays for the Rams, he still cheers for the Steelers. I kid you not. I would still be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. It'd be all nothing but respect. That doesn't mean if I had an opportunity to make a game-winning catch, I wouldn't catch it because I'm a Steelers fan. No, but I would continue to keep up with the Steelers. And if I was playing for Baltimore and Baltimore didn't win, I would cheer for the Steelers to win. All right, although we're rivals. There's the handoff to Chris Carson, pickup of 7. And I'm not sure if Minnesota's going to use a timeout here, because they do have the 4th timeout, that being the 2-minute warning. Let's take a look at Twitter world, see what people have to say. All right, Madison is the next man up. Absolutely. Demetrius Chaney says, how is DK Metcalf Buff as hell, but too weak to hold on to the football. Chiseled Adonis, tell this man to put his motherfucking head back down. I definitely will. Let's take a look at the quarterback comparison. 2 touchdowns, 1 INT apiece. 276 for Cousins, 240 for Russell Wilson. 22 for 38 for Cousins, 21 for 31 for Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson been sacked twice, in contrast to Cousins never being sacked yet. I'll say this. I said this once. I'll say this again. As I said coming into this game, we need to consider Kirk Cousins for MVP, because if you look at his numbers with Russell Wilson, they are ridiculously similar on the season. Very odd motion for Tyler Lockett. Handoff to Chris Carson. He doesn't have enough to pick up a first down. It's going to set up a 3rd and short situation, most likely a 3rd and 1 from the 33-yard line. Another timeout from Mike Zimmer, as the back of my head is beginning to itch. Oh, I may have busted myself open. All right, but first down, no. First down will not end it here, because there still is, quote unquote, two timeouts remaining. A first down would not end it here. 2 first downs would end it here, as Brendan McKinney would say in the YouTube chat room. Ornament Hockey says Dan Bailey PAT. Absolutely atrocious. Hoodies 8. I don't know if this is true or not. The Raptors declined the trade of Marc Gasol for James Harden. Well, I had no clue if that's right or not. But regardless, 3rd and 1 from the 34. Handoff to Chris Carson. He picks up the first down, and he carries Harris to the 22-yard line. Now, if I'm Minnesota, I'd let this go to the 2-minute warning. And they do. So now, judging that every play you're looking at about 40 seconds is the play clock, and you have 1 timeout, they're in field goal range here. So your best bet is to stop them. But from this point forward, 1 first down puts this game away. Because look at it like this. Your first play, you're going to run the football. You get tackled immediately. Let's just say that's about 3 seconds that's gone. You get the timeout. It stops at 157. The 2nd-yard play, you go for it. Regardless of how it lasts, let's say if it lasts about 4 seconds, that brings the clock down to 153, and then you have the 40 seconds on the play clock. You deduct that. That brings it to about 113, but most likely you're going to take the snap at 1. So about 114. Then you have the 3rd down play, 40 seconds once again. Let's just take 3. Let's bring it down to 110. You take the 40 seconds off. You go down to about the 12-20 area. You're in the 12. You're in the 20 area, about 27. No, matter of fact, no. If you're going from 112 downward 40 seconds. Yeah, so you're in about the 30-second range, and now it's 4th down, and you bring out your kicker to kick the extra point. So really, it's one more first down. This game is over. Slyvan Dare says, why is every Seattle game so stressful? Man, I don't know. It's down to the wire. It's down to the wire. Dylan Ansa says Chiefs versus Seattle. I'm not sure if you're talking Super Bowl, but all right. Destroyer X says Steelers deserve to make the playoffs. Listen, a ton of teams deserve to make the playoffs, and the Steelers don't deserve anything. They got to earn it. TJ Blaze, Toad Mario Skip. Hoodie Zay, that Disney Plus coming in clutch when it hits February. Hoodie Zay says that was Jonas Valanciunas. They drafted him in the 1st round back in 2012, and the Thunder tried to trade him to Harden to the Oh wait, that is Valanciunas. Oh wow. Oh, flop. I said, my dumbass said that was Marc Gasol because I saw the jersey. I thought it was on Gasol on the Grizzlies. They could have traded him for Valanciunas. That's stupid. All right. Charles Jackson says in Hot Mic, Dan Bailey, or is that Dan Bailey, or is it Doink the Clown Cody Parkey? I would rather drink bleach than have you as my kicker. I would rather share needles with Magic Johnson than have you as my kicker. Put your motherfucking head back down. You're damn right. 1st and 10 for the Seattle Seahawks. 1 first down puts this game away. They're at the 22 in Minnesota territory, coming out of the final 2-minute warning. Hollister in motion. This is obviously going to be a run. Handoff to Rashad Penny. Positive yardage. Picks up 5 on the play. Here comes the final timeout from Minnesota. with 1:55 left to play. And as we covered already, 40 seconds is the play clock. So the very next play will probably amass about 3 to 5 seconds. Let's say that brings it down to 150. Then you have the 40-second marker. You take that 40-second marker down from 150, you're at 110, but they're probably going to snap it around 111. From that point on third down, they'll take another snap if they do not get that first down, and they could bring the clock all the way down to 32. And then on fourth down, they would go and kick their field goal. Chris Carson, 7th game in the last 2 seasons with over 100-plus yards and a rushing TD. Tied for the most in the NFL, 103 rush yards and a TD. Last week, remember, we saw Rashad Penny go over 100 yards, where I believe it was 14 carries, 129 yards, and a TD. What does that mean? Seattle can run the football. Game is on the line here for Minnesota. Out of timeouts. First, 2nd and 5. Chris Carson stopped in the backfield. Great play by Minnesota. They stopped for a loss. The time stops at 48, and here we are playing the time. 140, the 8-second differential between game clock and play clock. Most likely this will tick all the way down to about 1 minute and 8 seconds. Pardon me, not 1 minute and 8 seconds. That's stupid. Because it can only go about 15 more. About minute 13. About minute 13. 3rd and 7. Does Seattle go and take the risk and try to pass the football? We'll see. Matter of fact, no, I was right. It was about 1 minute and 8. I was right the first time. Why'd I not go my route? Okay. Did they call delay of game? No, they did not. Chris Carson trying to get out of bounds. He got to stay in bounds. He got to stay down. He does get down. And you're going to get the field goal. No team has any timeout, so you're going to get the field goal with about 22 seconds left. And remember, this can be blocked and recovered and returned. So here we go. Jason Myers, you need to make this. He's made both his field goal attempts today, both from 29 yards. Can he give Seattle a touchdown lead with from 36 yards out? There's the snap, there's the hold, the kick, it's through the uprights, and it's good. 21 seconds left to play. Seattle takes a 37-30 lead over Minnesota. Big-time drive, big-time pickups from Chris Carson. Now Minnesota with 21 seconds left, facing a deficit with no timeouts remaining. Tony Thatch, Kamari Best says 37-30 will be the final score. I will ask you individuals now, everybody who's tuned in to the 71 on Hot Mic, to the 300 plus on YouTube. Do you believe that the Vikings can pull off the miracle and make a comeback in this final 21 seconds? Put a number 1 for yes and put a number 2 for no. We've got 394 in the building on YouTube. Do me a favor and click that like button. Xavier says no. Lockett, goose egg. No catches. Yeah, he's probably going to end with no catches. Samus says no. Xavier says take the L out of Lover. It's over, brother. Jay Breeze, Brendan Turner, Mass Spec says no. I'm seeing nothing but no's in the chat room on YouTube. Here's the return, tackled at the 31-yard line. The football is loose. Wait a minute now. They're saying the football is loose. Shaquille Griffin is saying that it's loose. Shaquem Griffin is saying that it's loose. And oh my Lord, the ball is in the hands of the Seattle Seahawks, and the game will be over. They did not even get an opportunity. They tried to take their receipt to the sperm bank. They could not get their comeback, and it appears that the Minnesota Vikings will take this L. And in Green Bay, they are celebrating. Ham could not hold on to the ball. Thanksgiving is over. Well, there's no time for Ham, says Seattle. And it's recovered by the Seahawks. The game will be over. Look at the play. He's got butter fingers. It's a little cold outside. He didn't bring up his coat. He's coughing up the damn ball. Homer, who had the fake punt run to pick up the first down, gets in there, recovers the football, and puts the game away for Seattle. We're going to get one more kneel down. Seattle will become the division leaders as they have the same record as the 49ers, and they defeated the 49ers a few weeks back on Monday Night Football. So now we're sitting at Seattle being the number 2 seed, and I believe this would push New Orleans to the number 1 seed in the NFC. What a game. What a game down to the wire. Mike Zimmer showing that his team was resilient. What did we see? We saw Minnesota go down the field. They scored early. They got on the board and put up 7. We saw the Seattle Seahawks respond back and give the Minnesota 7. We had a tie game at 7-all. Then we saw Minnesota go up 17-10 going into halftime, only to see the Seattle Seahawks respond with a 24-point unanswered run. Then we saw Minnesota go down the field, score 13 unanswered, but Dan Bailey missing the extra point, leaving it at 34-30. Then the fumbles back-to-back, DK Metcalf putting the ball on the ground, and then seeing Seattle, or I should say Minnesota, give the football right back where they were stopped short. Or no, they fumbled on the play. I believe it was Madison fumbled on the play. Then Seattle put 3 on the board, thus giving them a 37-30 lead. And that being the final score. Everybody who predicted that to be the final score, shout out to you guys. And exactly at 11:30, we have a final in Monday Night Football, where we saw the Seattle Seahawks take down the Minnesota Vikings. And still where we stand, I believe these two teams will be in the postseason. The only position that will change is the Cowboys and the Eagles. I believe the Eagles will get in instead of the Cowboys. But this has been a very exciting Week 13 in the NFL. And shout out to everybody who tuned in to the stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in with me and fellowshipping. I said fellowshipping. On the Hot Mic app, we had as much as 222 viewers who came and stopped by, whether they stepped in and then stepped down and stepped back in, whatever the case may be. All 224 of you guys, I appreciate you. We still got 51 in the room, down to 50. People will begin to make their exits. First and foremost, I want to shout out everybody in Twitter world for tuning in with me. We will be right back here for Thursday Night Football. All right, Hoodie Zay, last words. Pardon me, TJ Blaze saying Hot Mic 2. Hoodie Zay saying green eggs and Butterfingers, not ham. Hilarious. Kirk Cook says, loved you on Hot Mic. Great job. I appreciate you, Kirk Cook. Consider giving me a follow on Hot Mic if you haven't already. Andrew Penalosa says Seattle had 2 heart-pumping games that were fun to watch, and you commentate them, made them extra special. I appreciate you for tuning in. This is what it's all about, giving power back to the creator, giving power to your own personal broadcaster. You don't got to listen to Booger McFarlane or Al Michaels or Chris Collinsworth or Jim Nantz or anybody else who's sitting there in commentary on your television. You have an opportunity to choose a commentator of your choosing. Why not go to the Hot Mic app and give a listen? Give a listen. I believe this is a groundbreaking app. We have an opportunity to really create something absolutely special here in Hold My Nugget Studios. I can't tell you how many people have said, hey, you should be commentating on games, and here's your opportunity. Your wish has been granted, and you didn't even have to gather the Dragon Balls and call up Shenron. All right? And last but not least, just one last time, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor. Download the Hot Mic app. Use the promo code Adonis on iOS. But if you're using Android, pre-register. When the app drops, you will be the first to get your hands on it. Shout out to everybody who tuned in on Twitter. And now let's go down the list on Hot Mic before I check out here. And shout out to everybody who was here in the dashboard. Let me go down the list. Shout out to MC412. I'll get to YouTube in a little bit. Shout out to MC412, Charles Jackson, Dominique Luther, Night Moves, Brian, Silky Smooth, Charles Jackson, Joseph Mendy. All right, shout out to you guys for tuning in. And as we go, I'll take a look at the YouTube stream. Tommy Brown, DC Real, 8642 MCD, Sam Black, Zim85, William Richardson, Clutch Time, Angelo Urena, Blue Union. Blueon, whatever that is. All right, I apologize for butchering your name. Jordy, shout out to you and Hot Mike. All right, Victor Salazar. Sato meets Heat. Candace Leach, as always. Upshaw, shout out to you. Makai Upshaw. Brian Linker, Scorpion King 116. Chiba 14. All right, Swift Nobody, Heat Boy, Big Boy Nut, Swift Nobody, Percy Femur, Comedic Genius, Tony Thatch, Toast as well, Little Bigsby, K34437, Tommy Brown, King Shook, Martian Manhunter 2258, Desmond Endman as always, the App Master. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Desmond Moreno, Kenneth Lambert, thank you so much for tuning in on Hot Mic. Everybody who was there, Nathan D, Life of T-Rex, DJ Mac, B. John Swaby, Andrew Penalosa on Twitter, Kirk Cook, TJ Blaze, Dylan Anza, thank you very much. Hoodie Zay, as always, Arteman Hockey, Demetrius Chaney, Charlie Brown, James Smith, Cash Money J, Jamal, Mark Ackerman, as always, Dylan Dunn, Kajafa Carter, Gap Tooth Assassin, Big Pete, Daquan Echeverra, shout out to you. Ja in Hot Mic, shout out to you. Any other name? Adrian YB, shout out to you as well. Dark Yagami, opposite of Light Yagami, shout out to you. Fly Guy Gray 58. Nick, as always, on Twitter. I forget to pronounce. Halswinet. I cannot pronounce your last name. I'm sorry. You're gonna message me how to pronounce your last name. I'm sorry about that. Stephen Oaks, Bitter Samurai, Bean, Tyson, and Ethan. Anthony Marshall as well. Spearman 1313. Zach Cunningham. Alex Barron, yes. Cornelius Walton. Net Strike, as always. True Psychotic One Murder Log, shout out to you. And I think there's only one other name on Hot Mic. CJ Lloyd. Yes, indeed. Jordan Crawford. L. Dot as well. Zorro Mofo. And Joseph Mendinghall. I think that's all. And Charles Jackson. Yes, indeed. And Charles Jackson. Oh, Kiko as well. Brother Sanchez, Moody Booty, and Yordi. Oh, Yordi's already on Hot Mic there. I think that's everybody. A clever name, and there's one other name. And Fredo. Shout out to all of you guys for tuning in on Hot Mic. And Roman Lee, shout out to you. GJT Mac, Adrian YB. Everybody who did tune in to Hold My Nugget Studios, I appreciate you. And last but not least, let's do our closing remarks. And Swedester, Swedester 28. Thank you very much, every single one of you guys, for tuning in to Hold My Nugget Studios live on the Hot Mic app and also on YouTube for your 2019 NFL Week 13 Monday Night Football primetime game highlight commentary, where we saw the Seattle Seahawks hold down the home front against the Minnesota Vikings with a 37-30 win. Big time W for Seattle. Big implications regarding playoffs and seeding. Now we're seeing the 49ers go to the wild card. Seattle now takes that number 2 seed. New Orleans gets bumped up to the number 1 seed, and Minnesota falls a game behind Green Bay. But I have been your host for the night, and last but not least, if you have not subscribed or followed nor downloaded the app of Hot Mic, all of the links are on the screen. All of the links are in your description. Feel free to download. If you're watching on Hot Mic and you're tuned in this long, consider giving your boy a follow. We are live every Thursday, every single Monday. I have been your host, the founder, the CEO of Hold My Nugget Studios, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a good night. We'll be right back here on Thursday.